Chapter 341. At this moment, everyone's eyes were glued to the 49 totems in the sky, forgetting where they were. At this moment, the light from the 49 totems was comparable to 49 suns. At this moment, the starlight was completely obscured by the 49 totems. 49 totems. Huang Fushi and Yao Kai were shocked beyond words. They could no longer feel their hearts beating. Qi Mingtian, Han Mo, He Yao, and the other 12 Heaven's Wills God Kings felt their minds go blank. Even the Great Saber Nefarious Emperor, Old Monster Titan Spirit, and the other 4 were shocked. 49 totems. There was actually someone who could condense 49 totems in this world. What kind of monsters were this pair of master and servant? This could no longer be called a monstrous genius. The 49 totems stood tall in the void, eternal and indestructible. They emitted a primordial dragon flame that devoured the heavens. The turbulent airflow in the surrounding starry sky had stopped at some point in time. It had stopped boiling. It had completely stopped. The Great Saber Nefarious Emperor, Old Monster Titan Spirit, and the others noticed that their attacks had slowed down. Lu Yiping stood with his hands behind his back. His light blue figure stood under the 49 totems, and his cold eyes emitted a heart-palpitating chill. When the Purple Extreme Devil Race's Great Saber Nefarious Emperor, Old Monster Titan Spirit, and several 100 million experts' attacks arrived in front of him, Lu Yiping moved, punching out. Boom! When Lu Yiping punched out, it was as if his fist had struck the deepest part of the world's heart. A thunderous boom rang out, echoing through countless planes. The Great Saber Evil Emperor and the others, as well as the experts in the surrounding planes, felt as if this punch had struck the deepest part of their hearts. As Lu Yiping's fist blasted out, 2 rolling fist imprints broke through the air, sweeping up layers of huge waves, transforming into a towering river. The 49 totems' light surged, and their power merged into the 2 fist imprint rivers. These 2 fist imprint rivers flickered with the light of time and space. There were shadows of gods floating within them, primordial saints discussing the Tao, and everything in heaven and earth. The 2 giant rivers were displaying all the power of heaven and earth. The Great Saber Evil Emperor, Old Monster Titan Spirit, and the others couldn't describe the shock they felt when they saw the 2 fist imprint rivers. They only felt that these 2 fist imprint rivers were the pinnacle of heaven and earth's power. The power contained in the giant river of fist prints was beyond their comprehension. It was a power that did not belong to this world. To be precise, it was a power that did not belong to the lower realm. Boom! The fist imprint river carried the 49 totems, and its vast and boundless power collided with the power of the Great Blade Evil Emperor, Old Monster Titan Spirit, several 100 million ancient gods, and tens of millions of god kings. Loud rumbling sounds rang out without end. The only thing left in everyone's mind was this rumbling sound. The surrounding plains trembled from the rumbling. From afar, these plains looked like they were suffering from spasms. The 2 fist-shaped rivers collided with the Great Saber Nefarious Emperor's forces, plowing away the Great Saber Nefarious Emperor's forces and pushing them forward, closing in on the Great Saber Nefarious Emperor's forces. Unstoppable! This was everyone's first thought. In this world, there was no one and no power that could block these 2 giant rivers of fist prints. The Great Saber Nefarious Emperor's forces were like a gust of wind in front of these 2 giant rivers of fist prints. It was a gust of wind. All the gust of wind was blown away and blasted away. Even if they were separated by 10,000 miles, the fist-shaped rivers of fist prints illuminated the Great Saber Nefarious Emperor's forces, causing their faces to turn red. They were like soft persimmons that were about to be violently kneaded. Retreat! The Great Saber Nefarious Emperor, Old Monster Titan Spirit, Ancestor Xian, and Ancestor Chang screamed at the group of experts behind them. Then they fled in a frenzy, using all their strength to escape. Some of the ancient gods and god kings blocking the Great Saber Nefarious Emperor and Old Monster Titan Spirit couldn't dodge in time and were sent flying. When the Great Saber Nefarious Emperor and the others turned around to flee, they heard a buzzing sound behind them. This was the sound of the fist imprint river cutting through space. The buzzing sound grew louder and louder until it covered all the sounds in the world. One after another, ancient gods were plowed away. One after another, god kings were blasted away. One after another, totems were blasted away. One after another, heaven's wills were blasted away. Looking from afar, these ancient gods and god-kings were like bubbles being blasted away by two rapidly moving mountains. Miserable screams rang in the air. Perhaps it was because the screams were too concentrated, but when these screams mixed together, it became a kind of heaven and earth rhythm. The great saber nefarious emperor, old monster titan spirit, and the others felt a terrifying force closing in on them. Turning around, they saw two fist-shaped rivers that covered the starry sky. How could they be so huge? Compared to before, these two fist-shaped rivers seemed to have grown several times bigger, more than 10 times bigger. The great saber nefarious emperor and the others noticed that their speed was as slow as a turtle before these fist-shaped rivers. The 5 of them felt despair. Before this kind of power, who wouldn't feel despair? When the god-kings with 7 heavens' wills were plowed away, it was the god-kings with 8 heavens' wills, and then the god-kings with 9 heavens' wills. Finally, it was the god-kings with 10 heavens' wills like Old Man Tian Bei. The fist-shaped rivers arrived in front of the Aeon's divine manners manor lord Sikong Nan. Sikong Nan looked at the river of fist-shaped rivers that grew bigger and bigger. For a moment he didn't feel fear. He only felt that the fist-shaped rivers were so gentle, just like the light of a mother. In the blink of an eye, he was blasted away by the fist-shaped light and lost consciousness. After Sikong Nan, it was the god-kings with 11 and 12 heavens' wills. In the end, the fist-shaped rivers plowed away the great saber nefarious emperor and the others, all the way to the end of the starry sky. The fist-shaped waves rolled endlessly. All of a sudden, a loud explosion resounded. It was the sound of an uninhabited planet being blasted apart. A long time later, the fist-shaped waves dissipated and the explosions stopped. Lu Yiping retracted his fists and stood with his hands behind his back. Che Peng, Su Tung, and even the heavenly beasts were dumbfounded. They felt that their ancestors' power was too strong. Hundreds of millions of ancient gods and god-kings felt like they were dying. Lu Yiping pulled the level 13 heaven's will to his front and flicked it to Su Tung. At the same time, his other hand pulled a figure from the edge of space. It was the purple extreme demon race's great leader. Lu Yiping naturally wouldn't let this great leader die so easily. Thus, he only blasted the great leader to the brink of death. Looking at the purple extreme demon clan's great leader who was on the verge of death, Lu Yiping tapped his forehead with a finger. Countless memory fragments flew out from his head. A while later, Lu Yiping looked at the great leader's memory fragments. Then he clenched his fist and crushed the great leader. With Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's help, Che Zipping and Su Tung successfully fused the Chaos and Level 13 Heavens Will respectively. As for the other 5 Heavens Wills, Lu Yiping didn't waste them. He had the heavenly beasts collect them so that they could be used by the Heavenly Palace's experts. Heaven's Wills that were born could be preserved. The higher the level of the Heaven's Will, the longer it could be preserved. Chapter 342. Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and the rest did not linger and returned to the Heavenly Palace. A long time after Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and the rest left, the experts from the surrounding plains finally dared to approach the scene. When they were certain that Lu Yiping's group had left, they dared to approach the space where Lu Yiping's group had been standing. Everyone looked over and saw that under the starry sky far away, there were broken divine armors, severed limbs, heads and blood everywhere. Golden blood. Isn't that the Aeon's divine manners manor lord, Sikong Nan? A god King Tianming stared at a large head in the distance and stuttered. The eyes of the human head could not hide the fear in its heart. It was the Aeon's divine manners manor lord, Sikong Nan. Lord Sikong is dead. Everyone was shocked. Is that the massacring god pavilion's manor lord, Huang Fushi? Someone noticed Huang Fushi's head. Not far from Huang Fushi was the Qianyuan sect master, Yao Kai's head. Along the way, the corpses of the gods' manners manor lords and heaven's paths super sects manor lords were everywhere. At the end they saw the great blade nefarious emperor, old monster titan spirit, ancestor Xian and ancestor Cheng's corpses. Is this the end of the world? The experts who rushed over felt their mouths go dry when they saw the corpses littering the ground. In the past, when the heavenly wills appeared, there were god-kings who died, but not many. Moreover, there were no god-kings with 10 heavenly wills that died. But now, there were corpses of god-kings with 11 and 10 heavenly wills everywhere. After this battle, countless galaxies would enter an era of desolation. After this battle, many supersects would decline and perish. 49 totems. A god King Tianming muttered to himself. His mind was filled with the shocking scene of Lu Yiping activating the 49 totems. 49 totems annihilated several hundred million ancient gods in one move. 10 million god kings. No one dared to imagine this kind of power. Could this Lu Yiping be the god King Tianming? A god King Tianming suddenly asked. Everyone's heart skipped a beat when they heard this. If it was just one ancient god, even if it had 49 totems, it wouldn't be able to exterminate a few hundred million ancient gods and 10 million deity kings, right? Only god King Tianming could conjure such power when using the 49 totems. His heaven's will must be the chaos heaven's will. He might even be a rank 10 chaos mandate. A destiny god king guessed. Level 10 chaos destiny. Everyone was shocked. As for the chaos heavenly fate battle, it quickly spread throughout the various stellar domains. When Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, Tianshou, and Che Peng returned to the heavenly palace, they immediately took out the remaining 5 heaven's wills and gave them to the heavenly palace's experts. Although heaven's wills could be preserved, they could not be preserved for long, usually only for a few days. If they did not fuse within a few days, they would turn into laws and return to heaven and earth. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao then left the heavenly palace. From the memory fragments of the great leader of the purple extreme devil race, he had learned about the headquarters of the dark boar race in the lower realms. The headquarters of the dark boar race in the lower realms was extremely far away from the heaven's path. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao did not stop and finally arrived at a deserted stellar domain. The headquarters of the dark boar race in the lower realms was in a certain plain in this stellar domain. Lu Yiping identified the direction and headed east with Taurus Longjiao. Soon they arrived at a certain plain in the east. This plain was extremely large. On the surface there was nothing special about it, as if it was the same as the surrounding plains. However, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao could see that the entire plain was enveloped by an invisible array. Lu Yiping opened his eye of lightning punishment and passed through the layers of space in the great array. Within the plain, there were endless palaces and countless divine beasts. Disciples of the dark boar race flew in the sky in an endless stream. The entire plain was the headquarters of the dark boar race. Although there were not as many disciples as the Heavenly Palace, Massacre God Pavilion, and Qianyuan sect, every one of them was an expert. Almost all of them were masters of the plain and above. Moreover, most of them were ancient gods. There were millions of divine king heavenly mandate. During the fight for the heavenly mandate, although there were millions of divine king heavenly mandate among the hundreds of millions of experts, that was the total number of divine king heavenly mandate in countless stellar domains. However, the dark boar race alone had millions of divine king heavenly mandate. Taurus Longjiao also opened his eye of heaven and saw through the situation in the plain. Lu Yiping looked at the experts of the dark boar race in the plain with a cold gaze. He did not take action immediately. Instead, he waved his hands and countless array talismans flew out and merged into the great array of the plain. Soon, the great array that enveloped the plain was under his control. Then, Lu Yiping strengthened the great array before stepping into the plain with Taurus Longjiao. Who is it? As Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao did not conceal their auras, they were discovered by the experts of the dark boar race as soon as they entered the plain. A large group of experts from the dark boar race rushed over. Lu Yiping did not do anything and a lightning pool appeared above his head. This lightning pool gathered all kinds of divine lightning from the heavens and earth. The lightning pool expanded in an instant and countless divine lightning rained down like rain. Instantly, the experts of the dark boar race were drowned by the divine lightning and fell from the sky like a rain of locusts. When they landed, the thousands of experts of the dark boar race were reduced to ashes. The dark boar race had the ability to regenerate. Even if they were destroyed, their flesh and soul could still heal. Therefore, Lu Yiping's divine lightning directly reduced them to ashes. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao stepped forward. Soon, the experts of the dark boar race rushed over from all directions. Looking at the experts of the dark boar race rushing over from all directions, a lightning god appeared behind Lu Yiping. The lightning god was so tall that it reached the sky. It held a lightning hammer in its hand and countless divine lightning surged around its body. The lightning god suddenly smashed the hammer down. The experts of the Dark Boar race who rushed over from all directions were shocked. Retreat! However, the lightning hammer instantly smashed down. There was a loud boom. The ground shook and the mountains cracked. Countless mountains and countless palaces were reduced to ashes. Countless experts of the Dark Boar race were blasted into the ground by the lightning hammer. Then 2 black and white dual blades appeared in Liu Yiping's hands. Life and Death Wheel. You are the primordial era supreme. A Dark Boar race expert recognized the black and white dual blades in Liu Yiping's hands. Liu Yiping's face was cold as he swung the black and white dual blades in his hands. The heavens and earth changed. The originally scorching sun in the sky instantly turned into a black abyss, and the ground turned completely white. The life and death wheel turned into 2 blades of light that cut through the experts of the Dark Boar race. It flew to the end of the sky. Taurus Longjiao changed into his original form. A huge golden bull that stood between the heavens and earth roared at the sky. The roar turned into sound waves that shook the experts of the Dark Boar race and caused them to fall down one after another. Liu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, a man and a bull, headed toward the center of the headquarters of the Dark Boar race. As Liu Yiping approached the center, the creation tree in his body shook violently. To Liu Yiping's surprise, the creation jade disc was also shaking. Chapter 343. Liu Yiping was overjoyed when he felt the creation jade disc vibrating in his body. It seemed like the creation jade disc was not the only thing in the Dark Boar race's headquarters. While Liu Yiping and the Dragon Horn Golden Bull were invincible as they made their way to the center of the Dark Boar race's headquarters, Inqi received a report from her subordinates. Oh, creation wheel! The primordial era honored one? Inqi was surprised. It seems like the human race's Saint Emperor Chen Yushu had followed the primordial era honored one? In Hong sneered. Back then, Chen Yushu was forced to flee and almost died. Inqi stood up and said, let's go out and take a look. Among the top 10 experts of the Myriad Gods era, more than half of them were taught by this ancient era's revered one. This person is proficient in array formations, alchemy, and painting. If we can recruit him, we will have another general. Then he left the main hall with the others. As soon as the thousands of Dark Boar race experts left the main hall, they saw 2 figures, one blue and one gold, flying toward them. Wherever they passed, the Dark Boar race experts who tried to stop them were turned into blood mist or ashes. Inqi squinted his eyes when he saw the creation wheel in Liu Yiping's hand. Soon Liu Yiping arrived in front of the Inqi and the others. When Liu Yiping arrived, the creation tree and creation jade disc in his body vibrated, even more violently. Mount Buzhou was also shaking violently. When Liu Yiping felt the vibration of Mount Buzhou in his body, he couldn't help but look at a mountain range to the east of the Dark Boar race's headquarters. That was where the treasury of the Dark Boar race was located. You are the primordial era honored one? Yin Hong looked at Liu Yiping with an indifferent expression. You are quite bold to barge into the Dark Boar race's headquarters. Back then, the human race's Saint Emperor Chen Yushu wanted to explore the Dark Boar race and was chased by us like a dog. Just as he finished speaking, he was suddenly sent flying by a huge golden rod. He flew for tens of thousands of miles and smashed through countless mountains. The experts of the Dark Boar race were stunned. Then they looked at Taurus Longjiao angrily. It was Taurus Longjiao who had attacked them. Courting death. Kill. Inqi's face darkened as he shouted. The experts of the Imba race immediately activated their heaven's wills. They were all godly monarchs with more than 10 heaven's wills. Many of them had 11 or 12 fate armaments. There were even over a dozen 13-willed god kings. These Imba clan experts activated their heaven's will power at the same time. The light of heaven's will shot into the sky, and the sky above the plain shook violently. Terrifying air currents appeared one after another. The destructive power enveloped one mountain range after another. Moth Calamity Palm. Now the experts of the Dark Boar race had unleashed the strongest technique of the Dark Boar race, the Dark Boar Disaster Palm. The Dark Moth Calamity Palm gathered the power of calamities and tribulations to destroy all life and hope. Boom! Countless gray palms appeared in the air, crashing down on Liu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Gray tribulation lightning surged within these gray palms. Apart from the gray tribulation lightning, there were also other tribulations. These tribulations made one feel despair. Of course, the power of the Dark Moth Calamity Palm wasn't limited to just that. Under the effect of the Dark Moth Calamity Palm, one's strength, vitality, and divine force would be constantly weakened. Looking at the thousands of palms crashing down, Lu Yiping remained calm. He stood with his hands behind his back, and a golden bell appeared above his head. The golden bell shone brightly, and the sun, moon, and stars revolved. Primal Chaos Bell Art. Yin Qi's expression changed drastically when he saw the bell. Dong! Following that, a deafening bell rang. A terrifying sound wave blasted out in all directions. The Dark Moth Calamity Palm instantly exploded, and all the heaven's wills of the Dark Boar race exploded. Thousands of Imba clan experts exploded as if they had suffered a devastating blow. Even the godly monarchs with 12 heaven's wills were no exception. They exploded into a bloody mist under the impact of the primal chaos bell sound wave. As Yin Qi fled in fear, a divine armor appeared on his body. This divine armor had evil spirits coiling around it, and it flickered with a stone radiance. When the primal chaos bell sound wave blasted onto the divine armor shone brightly, resisting most of the primal chaos bell's power. Yin Qi was smashed to the ground, and the Dark Boar race's headquarters was smashed to smithereens. However, with the protection of the divine armor, he didn't die. He only spat out a mouthful of blood. Great Mountain Divine Armor. Lu Yiping stared at Yin Qi's divine armor and said, "The Great Mountain Divine Armor was an extremely powerful divine armor of the Supreme Ancient Heavenly Court." Yin Qi laughed proudly. "Good eyesight. That's right, it's the Great Mountain Divine Armor. With the Great Mountain Divine Armor, you won't be able to break through my defense." "Is that so?" Lu Yiping's face was indifferent. He broke through the void, and when he arrived in the sky, he punched the ground where Yin Qi was. When Lu Yiping punched out, the fist force surged like a river, and the flames were shocking. This punch seemed to have transcended time and space, as though it had condensed the supreme power of heaven and earth, as though it came from a new epoch. Seeing this punch, Yin Qi's smile disappeared, and it was replaced by fear. Epic Divine Fist. "You're the epic god. You're not the ancient epic sovereign." The epic god was in existence that was even more ancient and terrifying than the ancient epic sovereign. He was in existence from 3 million years ago. Lu Yiping's cold voice resounded. "I'm the epic god, and also the ancient epic sovereign." The epic divine fist slammed down. Boom! All of Yin Qi's mountain peaks were instantly sunk. The fist force of the epic divine fist blasted Yin Qi into the ground, and it continued to blast him deeper into the ground. The fist force of the epic divine fist seemed to be inexhaustible, and it blasted open layers of magma underground. After an unknown period of time, a terrifying fist force of light and flames penetrated through the other side of the plane. It was the epic divine fist. The epic divine fist directly blasted through the plane. Yin Qi had already disappeared without a trace, and not even ashes were left. As for the Taishan divine armor of the immemorial celestial court, it was also destroyed beyond recognition. What a pity. It's a good armor. Taurus Longjiao shook his head. The Taishan divine armor was an incredible treasure, even in the upper world. Lu Yiping looked at the remaining Imba clan experts around him, and the chaos bell rang again. This time the chaos bell sound waves turned into boundless golden airwaves, spreading to the ends of the world. Wherever it passed, the Imba clan experts perished and disappeared. Taurus Longjiao's heavenly pillar grew longer, and it swept across the world. After a long time the chaos bell sound waves stopped, and the Imba clan was nowhere to be seen. Lu Yiping removed the chaos bell incantation, and came to the Imba clan's treasury with Taurus Longjiao. With a point of his finger, he blasted open the Imba clan's treasury formation and the door. When the Imba clan's treasury door was blasted open, the aura of treasures blossomed, and the surging energy of chaos spiritual herbs surged out from the door. It instantly filled the surrounding mountains, and the fragrance of chaos spiritual herbs filled the air. The two of them stepped into the treasury door. Chapter 344. Inside the treasury was a vast field of spiritual herbs that stretched as far as the eye could see. On this field were spiritual herbs, and all of them were chaos spiritual herbs. Every kind of spiritual herb was suffused with chaos spiritual qi. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao flew along the field. As they continued to fly, they gradually saw the end of the field. At the end of the field were iron ore veins. These were all primitive ore veins that had yet to be mined. Subsequently, Lu Yiping and the others saw piles of divine armors and various kinds of chaos spirit stones. Above heaven-grade spirit stones were chaos spirit stones. In the lower realm, chaos spirit stones were rare. Even the Heavenly Palace, Massacre God Pavilion, and Qianyuan Sex Treasury did not have many chaos spirit stones. But in front of them, chaos spirit stones were piled up like mountains. Both of them continued to fly deeper. Along the way, there were rare treasures in chaos spiritual veins hanging in the air. There were more than 1,000 of them. Among these chaos spiritual veins, even the smallest one was tens of thousands of miles long. In the depths of the treasury, Lu Yiping found the 7th piece of the Fortune Jade Disc. After Lu Yiping collected the 7th piece of the Fortune Jade Disc, he looked at the mountain of tree chunks. These tree chunks included the foundation tree, Sun Fusang tree, and other kinds of divine tree chunks. Beside these tree blocks were lakes filled with various types of chaos water. It was clear that the Dark Boar race was using these chaos water to water the tree chunks, trying to revive them. In the distance, there were many divine trees that the Dark Boar race had revived. However, like the foundation tree and Sun Fusang tree, the Dark Boar race could not revive them. To revive the foundation tree and Sun Fusang tree, only the spring of life could do it. Lu Yiping immediately sat down cross-legged and summoned the foundation tree. The moment the foundation tree flew out, the tree chunks flew towards the foundation tree like a torrential downpour. They attached themselves to the foundation tree and began to merge with the foundation tree inch by inch. Soon, the foundation tree grew to 100,000 meters tall. When the foundation tree grew to 100,000 meters tall, the black and yellow light in the chaos qi burst out, and the profound yellow qi was finally produced. However, even though the Xianhuang qi was produced, it was only a very small amount. The Jianshu continued to grow. In less than an hour, it had grown to 110,000 meters. When the Jianshu grew to 110,000 meters, the amount of Xianhuang qi gradually increased. In the beginning, the Xianhuang qi was barely visible. However, when the tree grew to 110,000 meters, the Xianhuang qi became visible to the naked eye. 2 hours later, when the Jianshu had grown to 120,000 meters, the Xianhuang qi mixed in with the chaos qi was very obvious. When the Jianshu grew to 140,000 meters, the Xianhuang qi gradually replaced the chaos qi and began to occupy about 40% of the chaos qi. In the end, the Jianshu grew to 150,000 meters, and the Xianhuang qi and the primal chaos qi each occupied half of it. The qi of heaven and earth and the qi of chaos were rolling around the tree of creation, complementing each other. It was a beautiful sight. However, after reaching 150,000 meters, the speed at which the chaotic qi transformed into Xianhuang qi slowed down. When the tree grew to 160,000 meters, the 10th level of the immortal heavenly wood art finally appeared. Lu Yiping sat cross-legged under the Jianshu, comprehending the 10th level of the immortal heavenly wood art. The moment the Jianshu swallowed all the tree pieces in the treasury, it finally broke through to 200,000 meters. The 200,000-meter Jianshu towered between heaven and earth, piercing through the blue dome of heaven, as if it wanted to pierce through the blue dome of heaven. At the top of the Jianshu, thunder rumbled and lightning flashed, and the Xianhuang qi rolled endlessly. At this time, the Xianhuang qi was more abundant than the chaos qi. The Xianhuang qi occupied 70%, and the chaos qi occupied 30%. Lu Yiping estimated that when the Jianshu grew to 300,000 meters, the chaos qi would completely transform into Xianhuang qi. After comprehending the 10th level of the immortal heavenly wood art, Lu Yiping stood under the Jianshu and looked up. The Jianshu's lush branches extended into the void like an umbrella. When these branches stretched out, the ends of the branches could not be seen with the naked eye. On the branches, the leaves were extremely dense. The split the heavens characters between the leaves embellished the Jianshu, emitting a mysterious light. It was a beautiful and spectacular sight. On the trunk of the Jianshu, patterns of the great Tao filled the air. Taurus Longjiao stood under the jianshu and looked at the jianshu in front of him. He smiled and said, "A big tree is good for shade. In the future, even if there are 10 suns, we won't be afraid." Lu Yiping smiled. "In the future, we can eat barbecued meat and drink wine under this jianshu." Taurus Longjiao said seriously, "In the future, we can even invite girls to admire this tree." The two of them chuckled. Then Lu Yiping took out Mount Buzhou and merged it with the Mount Buzhou stones in the treasury. Although there were not as many Mount Buzhou stones as the jianshu, there were still a lot of them. After the Mount Buzhou stones in the treasury were all merged with the Mount Buzhou stones, the 100-meter-tall Mount Buzhou grew to more than 10,000 meters. Buzhou Mountain, which was more than 10,000 meters tall, stood there. Chaotic qi churned, and the mountain shone brightly. Every stone had a pattern of the Great Tao, which connected together, vaguely forming a heaven-opening great formation. Although this split the heavens-level formation was not complete, it was enough to greatly increase Mount Buzhou's offensive power. As Mount Buzhou grew, the 7-colored gourd roots on top of it also grew. The second purple-red gourd finally matured. This purple-red gourd was known as the 99 soul-scattering gourd. It contained the connate red sand. In terms of offensive power, it was much stronger than the first purple-gold gourd. After Mount Buzhou merged with the Mount Buzhou stones, Lu Yiping also had the Sun Fusong tree merge with the Fusong tree pieces in the treasury. Although the Fusong tree's growth was not as shocking as Mount Buzhou and the jianshu, it still grew to more than 7,000 meters tall. The Sun Fusong tree's golden sun flames surged endlessly, and the qi of the sun spread out like waves. Standing under the Sun Fusong tree, it felt even warmer. Of course, this warmth was only for Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. If other god kings were here, they wouldn't even be able to get close to it. Without further ado, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao started roasting meat under the Sun Fusong tree. Needless to say, the meat roasted with the sun flames was even more tender and smooth, and the taste was even more delicious. Of course, they had to control the intensity of the sun flames. After eating the roasted meat and drinking fine wine, the two of them continued to collect the treasures, chaos spiritual veins, chaos spirit stones, and chaos spiritual herbs in the treasury. After collecting everything in the treasury, the two of them left the treasury. They did not leave immediately, and instead, they continued to stroll around the world's surface. After strolling around the world's surface and finding nothing else, the two of them left the Een Feather world surface and returned to the Heavenly Palace. Back in the Heavenly Palace, Lu Yiping ordered the heavenly beasts to continue searching for the jianshu tree pieces, Mount Buzhou stones, and jade plates. At the same time, he ordered them to gather information about the ancient fiend god Changliang. Chapter 345. In the following days, Lu Yiping and Tian Jiaojiao stayed in the Heavenly Palace and continued to cultivate. Sitting under the Tree of Creation, Lu Yiping cultivated the immortal skywood technique and the art of longevity at night. During the day, he comprehended the creation jade disc and occasionally studied the divine steel. The divine steel was not essential to Lu Yiping. However, the divine steel recorded some of the immemorial heavenly quartz deeds and the primordial ages deeds. It was very important. In the blink of an eye, thousands of years passed. In these thousands of years, the Heavenly Palace used all their forces to search for the creation tree, Buzhou mountain stone, and jade disc. They really did find many of them. However, they could not find the 8th creation jade disc. After thousands of years, the building tree had been fused with the Buzhou mountain stone found by the Heavenly Palace. The building tree had grown to 210,000 meters, while the Buzhou mountain stone had grown to 13,000 meters. Did Changliang enter the upper world? Taurus Longjiao asked. The Heavenly Palace used all their forces to search for thousands of years, but there was still no news of Changliang. Maybe, Lu Yiping said. Another few hundred years passed. There was still no news of Changliang. In these few hundred years, the Heavenly Palace found fewer and fewer creation tree and Buzhou mountain stone. In the end, there were no more creation tree and Buzhou mountain stone for decades. Seeing that it was about time, Lu Yiping decided to enter the upper world with Taurus Longjiao. Tian Shou knew that Lu Yiping and Tian Jiaojiao wanted to enter the upper world, so he begged to follow Lu Yiping and Tian Jiaojiao. In fact, before Lu Yiping and Tian Jiaojiao, He already had the idea of entering the upper world. Once a person had cultivated to a certain level, they would no longer be able to live their lives in the lower realm. Hence, Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Tian Shou went to the upper world together. The Heavenly Palace had already taken over the Massacre God Pavilion and Qianyuan sect, becoming the unshakable number one sect in Heaven's Road. Even if Tian Shou followed Lu Yiping into the upper world, the Heavenly Palace was still the number one sect in the lower world. As for Tang Bin, he stayed in the Heavenly Palace to cultivate. Su Tung took over the Northern Wilderness Divine Residence. Under the respectful escort of the Heavenly Palace's experts, Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Tian Shou stepped into the air and disappeared at the end of the Heavenly Path. The three of them left the Heavenly Palace and continued to fly towards the deepest part of Heaven's Road. At the end of the Heavenly Road was the entrance to the upper realm. However, the deeper the path, the stronger the flames, lightning, and tornadoes became. Even an ordinary god monarch with 10 wills would have a hard time passing through. Lu Yiping and the other two directly passed through. Several days later, at the end of the Heaven's Path, Lu Yiping's group of 3 stood in front of a spatial entrance. This spatial entrance emitted a heart-palpitating power. Whimpering sounds constantly came from the spatial entrance. This was the sound caused by the spatial storm tearing through space. Lu Yiping's group of 3 paused for a moment before entering the spatial tunnel in a flicker. What entered his eyes was a chaotic airflow. The airflow was extremely violent, crazily attacking everything within the spatial passageway. If an ordinary god monarch with 10 wills entered the spatial passageway, they would probably be sent flying by the airflow. Although the airflow hit the 3 of them, they did not move an inch. The 3 of them did not circulate their god force to defend themselves as they flew through the air. Tian Shou's true form was a heaven-devouring divine beast. Although he could not compare to Taurus Longjiao, his physical body was still very strong. The 3 of them continued to fly through the spatial passageway. The spatial passageway was not big, only several dozen meters wide. Chaotic airflow filled the entire passageway. There were no other experts in the spatial passageway, nor was there any sunlight or night. They flew like this for several days. Their eyes lit up when they saw a bright light coming from the end of the spatial passageway. The 3 of them knew that was the end of the spatial passageway and increased their speed. When the 3 of them exited the spatial passageway, they felt their bodies lighten and the sunlight in front of them was somewhat blinding. Taurus Longjiao looked up and saw a blue sky that stretched as far as the eye could see. White clouds bloomed and a gentle breeze blew. Taurus Longjiao pulled a white cloud into his hand. He looked at the white cloud in his hand and said, "The clouds in the upper domain are spiritual. They are of a higher level than those in the lower domain." Now they were in the sky above a sea. Lu Yiping looked at the calm sea below. The surface of the sea was extremely clear, reflecting the blue sky and white clouds in the sky. After a while, the 3 of them flew through the air. This sea was bigger than Lu Yiping and the other 2 had imagined. The 3 of them flew forward for several days and nights, but they still did not see land. While flying, they were attacked by some deep-sea sea beasts. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao did not take any action and let the Tian Shou deal with them. These sea beasts were not weak. The stronger ones were god monarchs with 11 wills. 6 days later, the 3 of them finally saw the shore of land. On the shore, there were many fishermen who had stopped their boats to dry their nets. It was obvious that they had just returned from fishing. Lu Yiping and the other 2 came ashore, attracting the attention of many fishermen. Not far away there were several children playing. One of the older children, about 7 or 8 years old, walked over and looked at Lu Yiping and the other 2 with curiosity. "Big brother, are you true gods?" the child asked. In the upper domain, only true gods who had condensed a godhead and above could fly. Lu Yiping smiled. "Little guy, what's your name?" The child looked up and said immaturely, "My name is Chan Tongtu. My grandfather said that I want to be a powerhouse with great abilities in the future. A transparent and real person. You can't be a weakling and you can't be a hypocrite." Lu Yiping and the other 2 smiled at the child's words. Just as Lu Yiping was about to say something, a fisherman suddenly shouted in fear, "It's the pirates are here." The group of fishermen fled in a frenzy. In the distance, a huge ship was riding on the wind, and the hull of the ship was engraved with a giant green demon. Seeing the ship, The child Chun Tongtu was also frightened and ran for his life. While the child and the group of fishermen were fleeing in panic, countless wind blades suddenly flew out from the ship. Countless wind blades pierced through the air, cutting across the sea surface, attacking the group of fishermen and the child Chun Tongtu. Just as these wind blades were about to pierce through the group of fishermen and the child Chun Tongtu, they suddenly stopped and scattered without warning. The group of experts on the ship was surprised. Everyone looked around and their gazes finally fell on Lu Yiping and the other two. Dare to interfere in our Green Devil Gang's business. You're courting death. On the ship's bow, a one-eyed old man smiled indifferent and punched out. Sky Extreme Holy Light Fist. Waves rolled out from the old man's fist, setting off layers upon layers of waves. In the blink of an eye, it was aimed at Lu Yiping and the other two. The heavenly beast was surprised to see the one-eyed old man's fist force. The Sky Extreme Holy Light Fist was one of his Heavenly Palace's ultimate techniques. Ignoring the one-eyed old man's Sky Extreme Holy Light Fist, the heavenly beast extended his hand and pulled the one-eyed old man in front of him. The Green Devil Gang's group of pirates turned pale with fright. Which sect are you from? Who taught you the Sky Extreme Holy Light Fist? Heavenly Beast asked the one-eyed old man. Chapter 346. After some questioning, Lu Yiping learned that the one-eyed old man was once an abandoned disciple of the Heavenly Palace before he joined the Green Fiend Gang. He was expelled from the Heavenly Palace for committing a crime. Knowing that there was a Heavenly Palace in the upper realm, Tian Shou asked excitedly, "Who is the Heavenly Palace's ancestral master?" The one-eyed old man was surprised. These people didn't know who the Heavenly Palace's ancestral master was. Did they come from another continent? The Heavenly Palace's ancestral master is called Song Song. Although the one-eyed old man was surprised, he still answered truthfully. Song Song. As expected. Although Tian Shou had already guessed, he was still overjoyed and excited when he got confirmation. It seemed that after his master entered the upper realm, he had also established a Heavenly Palace in the past million years. Moreover, the Heavenly Palace's power was not weak. Lu Yiping extracted the old man's memory fragments. After looking through them, he learned their current location. The continent they were on was called the Blood Demon Continent. A continent in the upper realm was extremely large, equivalent to a lower realm star region. Within the continent there were tens of thousands of regions. Each region was equivalent to a plane in the lower realm. The Heavenly Palace was one of the top sects in the Blood Demon Continent. However, the Heavenly Palace was extremely far away from here. After Lu Yiping had read the other party's memories, he killed the one-eyed old man and the pirates under his command with a single finger. Ancestral Master, shall we go to the Heavenly Palace now? Tian Shou asked Lu Yiping, unable to hide his excitement. Lu Yiping nodded. Now that they had just entered the upper realm, there was no place they needed to go. It would be good to stay in the Heavenly Palace for a while. Thus, Lu Yiping and the other two headed toward the Heavenly Palace. In the lower realm there were countless star regions and the galaxy was boundless. In the upper realm there were no star regions but there were countless continents and a boundless sea. Some of the islands in the sea were even bigger than a plane in the lower realm. In the upper realm there were countless geniuses and monsters. There were trillions of super sects and powerhouses as many as the stars. The upper realm was much crueler than the lower realm. Not to mention a sect with 1,000,000 years of history, even many sects with tens of millions of years of history could be destroyed overnight. Lu Yiping and the other two did not fly. Instead, they boarded the Black Dragon flying ship. Lu Yiping and the other two had to cross hundreds of domains to reach the Heavenly Palace. Therefore, Lu Yiping and the other two basically sat cross-legged in the ship's secret room to cultivate. Lu Yiping sat cross-legged under the tree of creation. Saint Chi rolled around him, and the aura of the Great Path filled the air. Before entering the upper realm, he had stayed in the Celestial Palace for thousands of years. He had comprehended the 7 good fortune jade discs and made great progress. He had already grasped most of the great Daos in the 7 good fortune jade discs. As for the longevity incantation, it had reached the 49th level. His immortal skyward art had also reached the 7th level. As Lu Yiping circulated the immortal skyward art, Lu Yiping and the Tree of Creation became one, breathing in and out the endless Xianhuang Qi in the void. Previously, the Tree of Creation's chaotic qi had no effect on Lu Yiping. But now the Tree of Creation could produce Xianhuang qi. The Xianhuang qi was very helpful to Lu Yiping's cultivation. It was because of the Xianhuang qi that his longevity incantation could reach the 49th level so quickly. The Xianhuang qi also played a role in his immortal skyward art reaching the 7th level so quickly. However, just as Lu Yiping was circulating the immortal skyward art, the Tree of Creation suddenly shook violently. Lu Yiping was stunned and stopped cultivating. The Tree of Creation was shaking so violently. Obviously, there was a Tree of Creation nearby. Lu Yiping could not help but stop the black dragon flying ship and walk out. Following the direction the Tree of Creation sensed, Lu Yiping finally arrived in front of an incomparably large city. The cities in the upper realm were built to be very large. The city in front of them was as big as a continent in the lower realm. Battle Watchtower City. Above the city gates were 3 ancient characters. Putting away the flying ship, Lu Yiping led the two into Battle Watchtower City. Inside Dokei City, it was bustling with activity. There were many ancient gods coming and going, and they even saw quite a few Heavens-Will God Kings. However, most of them were low-level Heavens-Will God Kings. God Kings with more than 7 Heavens-Will God Kings were rare. Finally, Lu Yiping stopped in front of a merchant house. True Dragon Merchant House. The Tree of Creation was inside the True Dragon Merchant House. The True Dragon Merchant House was not only the largest merchant house on the Blood Devil continent, but also one of the largest merchant houses in the upper realm. The founder of the True Dragon Merchant House was a Dragon Clan expert. The True Dragon Merchant House's branch was built in a magnificent and imposing manner. Merchant houses were generally built in a dazzling manner, as if this was the only way to show off their wealth. Lu Yiping's group of 3 entered the True Dragon Merchant House. The merchant house's main hall stone pillars were engraved with various images of divine dragons. Inside the hall, there were many people doing business. Because there were too many people doing business, no one came to receive Lu Yiping's group of 3. Lu Yiping went straight to the reception desk. Lu Yiping took out a spatial ring and said to the receptionist, "I'm looking for your president to buy something." He then opened the spatial ring's restrictions. Chaos Qi filled the hall in an instant. Everyone in the hall turned to look at Huang Xiaolong. The receptionist stared blankly at the mountain of chaos spirit stones inside the spatial ring. Then, he looked at the blue-robed young man in front of him and stammered, "May I know what Lord wants to buy?" Lu Yiping stretched out his palm, and light condensed into the shape of a Tree of Creation. The receptionist stared at the Tree of Creation and was stunned. "Lord wants to buy a Tree of Creation?" Lu Yiping was not surprised to hear that the receptionist recognized the Tree of Creation. He said, "That's right, your merchant house has a lot of Tree of Creation, right?" The receptionist hesitated for a moment, then nodded and said, "Lord, please wait a moment, I will report to the president." Soon, a middle-aged man clad in golden silk robes walked out from the inner hall, escorted by several merchant house experts. This middle-aged man was the True Dragon Merchant House's president, Long Tianxi. Long Tianxi's eyes widened in surprise when he saw Lu Yiping's group of 3 in the hall. This one is the True Dragon Merchant House's Fighting Tower Chamber of Commerce branch president, Long Tianxi. "I heard that young noble wants to buy a Tree of Creation?" Long Tianxi approached Lu Yiping and cupped his fists. "That's right." Lu Yiping nodded. Long Tianxi said solemnly, "To be honest with young noble, we do have a lot of Tree of Creation here, but someone has already reserved them." "Reserved?" Lu Yiping frowned. "Who reserved them? Did they pay the deposit?" Long Tianxi shook his head. "No, the deposit has not been paid. It's the Blood Devil Church's sect leader Li Guang who wants them." The Blood Devil Church was the Blood Devil continent's #1 sect. As the Blood Devil Church's sect leader, Li Guang's status was obvious. The heavenly beast spoke. "Since the deposit has not been paid, it's not a transaction." Right at this time, a cold voice sounded. "Who dares to snatch our Blood Devil Church's sect leader's things? Are you tired of living?" Chapter 347. As the voice rang out, a group of experts in blood-red battle robes walked into the Chamber of Commerce. Seeing this group of experts in blood-red battle robes, the faces of everyone in the hall changed, and they hurriedly moved aside. The leader was a young man. He was Blood Demon Church's Bishop Li Guang's beloved disciple Zhu Ji. Li Guang had sent Zhu Ji to collect the builder tree block. Lu Yiping glanced at the group of experts from the Blood Demon Church and said to Long Tianxi, "Since the deposit has not been paid, your Chamber of Commerce has the right to sell it to anyone. Whoever wants to buy it will bid. The highest bidder will get it. What do you think, President Long?" Long Tianxi pondered for a while and was about to speak. Indifferent, Zhu Ji looked at Lu Yiping and said, "Brat, which sect are you from? Do you believe that I will crush the three of you into paste right now?" However, just as he said that, he was slapped away by Heavenly Beast. When Zhu Ji landed on the ground, his teeth were scattered all over the floor. Everyone was shocked, including the experts from the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce. Long Tianxi also looked at Heavenly Beast in shock. As Li Guang's beloved disciple, Zhu Ji was naturally not weak. He was an ancient god with 10 totems. However, he was slapped so hard by this blue-robed young man that he could not resist. Senior brother Zhu Ji. The experts from the Blood Demon Church were shocked. When they came to Zhu Ji's side and helped him up, they saw that Zhu Ji's face was swollen out of shape. Indifferent, Heavenly Beast said, "If you dare to disrespect your ancestor again, you will die." Ancestor? Long Tianxi and the others looked at Lu Yiping. This blue-robed young man was this fierce man's ancestor? Zhu Ji glared at Heavenly Beast and said, "Good, very good." After that, he said to Long Tianxi, "President Long, please consider carefully. Do you want to sell this builder tree block to the Blood Demon Church or to these people?" Long Tianxi's face darkened, and he was unhappy. "It is not up to you to remind me who I want to sell the builder tree block to." As the president of the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's branch, his status was not lower than that of the Blood Demon Church's hierarch. Now that Zhu Ji, a junior, had reminded him, he was naturally unhappy. Zhu Ji's expression fluctuated. Glaring hatefully at Lu Yiping's group of 3, he left with the Blood Demon Church's experts. This time, he did not bring many experts with him to the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce. Long Tianxi turned around and cupped his fists towards Lu Yiping, saying with a smile, "Young master, how about we enter the inner hall to discuss this?" In other words, as long as the price was right, he would trade the building tree block with Lu Yiping. Thus, Long Tianxi invited Lu Yiping and the others into the inner hall. After Lu Yiping's group of 3 left, the crowd in the main hall buzzed in discussion. They were all discussing the incident just now and guessing Lu Yiping's identity. After entering the inner hall, Lu Yiping, Long Tianxi, and the others sat down. "How should I address you, young master?" Long Tianxi asked Lu Yiping with a smile. Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping did not conceal anything. Long Tianxi pondered. "I believe Master Lu also knows about the building tree block's treasure. We won't hide it from Master Lu." Previously, the Blood Demon Church's hierarch offered 1,000 drops of purple gold chaos water per cubic meter. Purple gold chaos water was of a higher grade than star chaos water. 1 drop of purple gold chaos water was worth 100 drops of star chaos water. 1,000 drops of purple gold chaos water would be 100,000 drops of star chaos water. This price was 1,000 times higher than the price Lu Yiping offered in the lower realm. However, Lu Yiping did not mind. He said, "I'll give you 2,000 drops of purple gold chaos water per cubic meter." The purple gold gourd could produce 1 bucket of purple gold chaos water per day, more than 300 buckets a year. After several thousand years in the lower realm, he now had more than 1,000,000 buckets of purple gold chaos water on him. "You'll give us 2,000 drops of purple gold chaos water per cubic meter?" Long Tianxi was secretly overjoyed. He smiled and asked, "Master Lu, is this true?" 2,000 drops of purple gold chaos water per cubic meter was twice the price offered by the Blood Demon Church. Although it was only 2 times, if there were many building tree blocks the difference would be shocking. The price Lu Yiping offered was enough to tempt Long Tianxi. "That's right, 2,000 drops of purple gold chaos water," Lu Yiping said. He immediately took out a bucket of purple gold chaos water. In an instant, chaos aura filled the hall. The chaos aura of the purple gold chaos water was much purer than the star chaos water. Subsequently, Lu Yiping took out 9,999 buckets. A total of 10,000 buckets of purple gold chaos water were placed in front of Long Tianxi and the rest. Looking at the 10,000 buckets of purple gold chaos water, even Long Tianxi, the true Dragon Chamber of Commerce's branch president, was stunned. 10,000 buckets of purple gold chaos water, 300,000 drops per bucket, that was 3 billion drops. A while later, Long Tianxi regained his senses. Looking at Lu Yiping, the expression in his eyes changed. He smiled and said, Master Lu is so rich, this Long's horizons have been broadened today. Since that's the case, this Long won't be arrogant. Then he ordered the building tree blocks to be sent over. In the end, the building tree blocks totaled more than 600,000 cubic meters. After transforming into purple gold chaos water, that was more than 1,200,000,000 drops. Lu Yiping paid 1,200,000 drops of purple gold chaos water for the building tree blocks of the true Dragon Chamber of Commerce. After the transaction was completed, Long Tianxi smiled and said to Lu Yiping, Is there anything else Master Lu needs? Lu Yiping stretched out his palm. Light condensed on his palm, forming the shape of the Buzhou Mountain Stone. Master Lu is looking for the Buzhou Mountain Stone? Long Tianxi was surprised. Although the building tree and Buzhou Mountain were heaven-opening treasures, they had been destroyed long ago. These tree blocks and stones had lost their vitality long ago. No one in the divine world could cultivate them, and none of the divine fires could refine them. Why did this Lu Yiping only want these useless things? That's right. Lu Yiping said, if your Chamber of Commerce has the Buzhou Mountain Stone, it will also be 2,000 drops of purple gold chaos water per cubic meter. Chapter 348. As the black dragon flying ship flew towards Heavenly Palace, Lu Yiping sat cross-legged in the ship's secret room, letting the Jianshu absorb the true Dragon Chamber of Commerce's Jianshu tree. When the Jianshu absorbed the true Dragon Chamber of Commerce's Jianshu tree, it reached 220,000 meters. After breaking through to 220,000 meters, the Dao patterns on the tree became denser, and the amount of Xianhuang qi increased. The profound yellow qi poured down like a waterfall. Taurus Longjiao sat cross-legged under the Jianshu tree, operating his cultivation method and devouring the profound yellow qi. In the last few thousand years, Lu Yiping had cultivated the immortal skyward art to the 7th stage, while Taurus Longjiao's cultivation had also increased thanks to the profound yellow qi. While Lu Yiping, the Dragon Horn Golden Bull, and Tian Shou were making their way towards the Heavenly Palace, inside the Heavenly Palace's main gate, the Heavenly Palace sect master Qin Yuan's brows furrowed when he heard someone report about what happened in Battle Imperial City. Master, this Lu Yiping impersonated our Heavenly Palace's expert in injured Zhu Ji. He even brazenly stole Lord Li Guang's Jianshu tree, causing the Blood Demon cult to vent their anger on us. We must capture him and make amends to the Blood Demon cult to prove Heavenly Palace's innocence. Qin Yuan's eldest disciple Chen Zhuofan said. Senior brother is right. The second disciple Lin Yi also said angrily. Now many sects and families are spreading the rumor that this Lu Yiping is the master of our Heavenly Palace. We must capture this Lu Yiping and take him to Sir Li Guang to explain clearly. Qin Yuan was about to speak when a Heavenly Palace expert rushed in and reported that the Blood Demon cult's Grand Elder, Chongbuan, was outside and wanted to see him. Qin Yuan got up and said to Chen Zhuofan and Lin Yi, Come with me to greet him. Heavenly Palace was one of the Blood Demon continent's top powers, but it had only been around for 1,000,000 years. It was a far cry from the Blood Demon cult, the #1 sect on the Blood Demon continent. Hence, although the person who came was a Grand Elder of the Blood Demon Church, Qin Yuan did not dare to slight him. Qin Yuan and the rest quickly came out to welcome them. When they arrived outside the sect, they saw a silver-haired elder in a blood-red battle robe. It was the Blood Demon Church's Grand Elder, Chongbuan. Brother Chong has arrived. Apologies for not going out to welcome you. Qin Yuan cupped his fists and smiled when he saw Chongbuan. Quick, invite him in. Chongbuan looked at the smiling Qin Yuan. His expression turned cold as he snorted. Qin Yuan, I'm here on the orders of our sect leader. I have a few words for you. Qin Yuan's heart shook and he said with a smile, Brother Chong, please speak. Qin Yuan is all ears. Let that Lu Yiping go to our Blood Demon Church's headquarters and kneel down. Also, let him obediently hand over all the builder tree pieces to our church master. If his attitude is not bad, Our churchmaster might spare his life. Indifferent, Chang Buyan continued, otherwise, not only will he and his servants die, but your heavenly palace will also be buried with him. Qin Yuan's expression changed and he hurriedly explained, Brother Chang, this is a misunderstanding. This Lu Yiping is not an expert of our heavenly palace. He is impersonating our heavenly palace's expert. Brother Chang, please explain everything to Lord Li Guang. I will be eternally grateful. Then he added, however, Brother Chang, don't worry. I will give the order to seal off all regions of the Blood Demon continent and capture this Lu Yiping. We will bring him to Lord Li Guang for him to punish. Then, Qin Yuan ordered someone to deliver a jade box to Chang Buyan. Chang Buyan opened the jade box. When he saw what was inside, his expression softened. Then, Qin Yuan apologized again and invited Chang Buyan to take a seat inside. Lu Yiping sat cross-legged in the flying ship, cultivating. After an unknown period of time, a heavenly beast knocked on the door of Lu Yiping's room, saying that they had arrived at Heaven City. Heaven City was the largest city in the sky domain, and it was also the city closest to the Heavenly Palace. Not far from Heaven City was the Heavenly Palace sect. Lu Yiping stopped cultivating and walked out of the secret room with Taurus Longjiao. Putting away the flying ship, the three of them arrived at Heaven City's gates. There was an endless stream of experts coming in and out of Heaven City. Experts from various forces were discussing the Heavenly Palace's million-year founding celebration tomorrow. I heard that even the Blood Demon cult sent many experts to participate in the Heavenly Palace's million-year founding celebration. Even Lord Li Guang's disciple Zhu Ji is here. The Heavenly Palace has yet to capture that Lu Yiping and his subordinates. The Blood Demon cult's Zhu Ji must be here to denounce them. We don't know where that Lu Yiping came from, but he pretended to be an expert of the Heavenly Palace. It's the Heavenly Palace's bad luck. I heard that the Blood Demon cult's Lord Li Guang gave the Heavenly Palace 3 more months. If they still can't capture that Lu Yiping and hand him over, they will question Qin Yuan. Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Taurus Longjiao heard the discussions in the crowd. Only then did the three of them know that the Heavenly Palace's palace master, Qin Yuan, had given the order to capture them and hand them over to the Blood Demon cult. Capture us and hand us over to the Blood Demon cult? Taurus Longjiao snorted. Lu Yiping's expression was normal. He looked in the direction of the Heavenly Palace sect and said, Let's go. The three of them continued on their way to the Heavenly Palace sect. Tomorrow was the Heavenly Palace's million-year founding celebration. At this time, in front of the Heavenly Palace sect, experts from all sides were rushing to the Heavenly Palace sect. It was lively and festive. Inside the Heavenly Palace's main hall, Zhu Ji and the Blood Demon cult's experts were sitting there carelessly. Zhu Ji looked at Qin Yuan and said with contempt, Qin Yuan, I'm sure you know what my master means. If your Heavenly Palace still can't capture Lu Yiping after 3 months, then don't blame our Blood Demon cult for being ruthless. Qin Yuan's expression was ugly. At this time, a Heavenly Palace's Grand Elder rushed in and stopped in front of Qin Yuan. He said with a smile, Palace Master, Heaven City's disciples just sent news that they found a person suspected to be Lu Yiping. What? Qin Yuan and the Heavenly Palace's experts were excited. In the past few days they had been worrying about finding Lu Yiping, but there had been no news of Lu Yiping. Now that they heard that Lu Yiping was suspected to be in Heaven City, they were all excited. Even Zhu Ji and the Blood Demon cult's experts sat up straight. It's suspected to be Lu Yiping. Zhu Ji's eyes glimmered with a bloodthirsty light. That slap. He had been thinking about the true Dragon Chamber of Commerce's slap these days. Where are his subordinates? He sat up straight and asked the Heavenly Palace's Grand Elder. The three of them are together. The Heavenly Palace's Grand Elder hurriedly answered. Good. Zhu Ji stood up. His expression ferocious. Bring us there now. Last time there were no God King Tianming experts by his side, but this time there were many Blood Demon cult's God King Tianming Grand Elders present. Immediately, Qin Yuan, Zhu Ji, and the rest left the main hall, leading a group of experts in the direction of Heaven City. The experts who came to participate in the celebration also followed behind. With Qin Yuan, Zhu Ji, and the rest's speed, they arrived at Heaven City in a short while. Zhu Ji saw Lu Yiping's group from afar. It's really them. Seeing Lu Yiping's group from afar, Zhu Ji laughed excitedly. Chapter 349. Chang Buyuan, who was at Zhu Ji's side, asked Zhu Ji, "How do you want to deal with this Lu Yiping?" Zhu Ji turned to Chang Buyuan and the blood demon sex experts. "Uncles, do you have any good suggestions?" Blood demon sex Grand Elder Jin Yunqing smiled. "My suggestion is to chop off his subordinates' hands first, then slap Lu Yiping and his subordinates' faces until they turn into meat paste. Smashing them into meat paste sounds good, but that's too light." Chang Buyuan smiled. "Let them taste our blood demon sex blood demon soul refining hand and death god's finger." He listed more than a dozen methods in a row. These were the blood demon sex punishment methods for their enemies. Soon Zhu Ji and the others arrived in front of Lu Yiping's group of 3 while chatting happily. Lu Yiping also saw Zhu Ji, Qin Yuan and the others. Zhu Ji stopped in front of Lu Yiping and snickered. "Surnamed Lu, we meet again." His gaze then landed on the heavenly beast. "I've been thinking about you all these days." The heavenly beast glanced at Zhu Ji. "What's the matter?" "What's the matter?" Zhu Ji's laughter was laced with hatred. "What do you think?" Heavenly Palace's Palace Lord Qin Yuan interjected. "Brother Zhu Ji, this Lu Yiping's group impersonated our Heavenly Palace's experts and acted recklessly. Why don't we capture them and hand them over to the Blood Demon sect?" Zhu Ji smiled. "Then I'll have to trouble Palace Lord Qin Yuan." The heavenly beast watched Qin Yuan flatter Zhu Ji and snorted, groveling and currying favor, acting like a slave. "Do you think you have the right to be Heavenly Palace's Palace Lord?" Qin Yuan's face sank, his eyes blazing with anger. The experts who came with them were dumbfounded. "Who do you think you are? My master doesn't deserve to be told what to do." Qin Yuan's eldest disciple, Chen Zhuofan, pointed his sword at the heavenly beast. Chen Zhuofan was Qin Yuan's disciple, but his cultivation wasn't weak. He was the strongest disciple in the heavenly palace, a godly king with 2 wills. With a thrust of his sword, God King Tianming's strength was vast. Seeing the other party's sword piercing toward him, the heavenly beast flicked his finger. Chen Zhuofan felt the sword in his hand being struck by a terrifying force. It flew out of his hand and smashed through countless buildings in its path. All the experts present were stunned. Even Qin Yuan was surprised. Even though this disciple of his was only a 3 wills god monarch, his heaven's will was extraordinary. He was at the 12th level and his battle prowess was comparable to many 3 wills god monarchs. But now, he could not even block a single finger from a heavenly beast. The heavenly beast flicked Chen Zhuofan away and looked at Zhu Ji, Chang Buyuan, and the others with indifferent eyes. "You said you wanted to cut off my hand and slap me in your ancestor's face?" Zhu Ji looked away from Chen Zhuofan and sneered. Indeed, the heavenly beast may have defeated Chen Zhuofan, but he didn't care. Chang Buyuan and Golden Cloud City's blood demon sex grand elders were all 7 wills god monarchs. As he spoke, the heavenly beast's left hand reached for him. Chang Buyuan snorted, "You're asking for death." His body glowed and his 7 heavens wills flew out. The power of the 7 heavens wills surged as he slapped at the heavenly beast. The heavenly beast's left hand didn't change and his right hand waved like a fly. Blood demon sex Grand Elder Chang Buyuan was sent flying and his 7 heavens wills exploded. Chang Buyuan also exploded in the air, turning into a bloody mist. Blood rained down. Under the sunlight it sparkled. Everyone was stunned. Even Qin Yuan and the blood demon sex experts were shocked. Zhu Ji, who was brought before the heavenly beast, saw blood demon sex Grand Elder Chang Buyuan explode and his face changed. The heavenly beast glared at Zhu Ji with cold killing intent. "I already told you at True Dragon Chamber of Commerce that if you dare disrespect your ancestor again, you will die." With that he clenched his fist and Zhu Ji exploded into a bloody mist. Blood demon sex Jin Yunqing's experts were stunned when they saw Zhu Ji explode. The various experts were also stunned by this sudden scene. "Kill!" Jin Yunqing came to his senses and roared, activating his 7 heavens wills. The other experts of the blood demon sect also activated their heavens wills. Dozens of blood demon sex experts charged at the heavenly beast. Looking at the dozens of blood demon sex experts charging at him, the heavenly beast's expression was cold as he punched out. Instantly his fist shot out a terrifying fist wave that contained a sacred light. Heaven's extreme holy light fist. Seeing the heavenly beast's fist wave, Qin Yuan and the heavenly palace's experts were shocked. Even the blood demon sect's experts were surprised. The Heaven's extreme holy light fist's fist wave collided with the blood demon sect's experts. But almost instantly, the Heaven's extreme holy light fist's fist wave plowed through the combined power of the blood demon sect's experts, drowning them in an unstoppable force. When the Heaven's extreme holy light fist's fist wave reached the edge of Heavenly City, the blood demon sect's experts had already disappeared. In the sky there were scattered fragments of Heaven's wills. In the distance, all the experts looked at the sky full of fragments in shock. Is this a god king with 9 or 10 Heaven's wills? One of the experts looked at the heavenly beast in shock. Killing dozens of god kings with 7 Heaven's wills in a single punch, only a god king with 9 Heaven's wills and above could do so. The heavenly beast looked at Qin Yuan and the heavenly palace's experts. Qin Yuan and the heavenly palace's experts' hearts tightened. Who are you? Why do you know our heavenly palace's extreme holy light fist? Qin Yuan asked solemnly. The heavenly beast did not answer. His face indifferent. Make your move. Let me see how much you've learned as the heavenly palace's master. Qin Yuan's face sank as he stared at the heavenly beast. His body shone brightly as his heaven's wills flew out. They were god kings with 12 heaven's wills, and each of them was at level 13. Extreme holy light fist. Qin Yuan suddenly punched at the heavenly beast. The power of 12 heaven's wills merged with his fist, causing the surrounding cities to tremble. The heavenly beast looked at the incoming extreme holy light fist, but he did not use his heaven's wills. Instead, he punched out with the same extreme holy light fist. The two extreme holy light fists collided. With a loud explosion, the shockwaves from the fist swept out, blasting away the surrounding buildings and roads. Everyone retreated in shock. In the billowing dust, Qin Yuan retreated again and again, crashing through countless buildings. In the end he slammed into a stone pillar, causing him to vomit blood. The heavenly palace's experts were shocked. Qin Yuan, who had 12 heaven's wills, was sent flying with a single punch. Moreover, this was under the condition that Lu Yiping's subordinate did not use his heaven's wills. A god king with 13 heaven's wills? An ancestor muttered. Even in the vast blood devil continent, there weren't many god kings with 13 heaven's wills. Even Qin Yuan, who was the heavenly palace's palace lord, only had 12 heaven's wills. Chapter 350. Who are you? Qin Yuan vomited a mouthful of blood, looking at heavenly beast in shock. If this person was already so strong, then what about this blue-robed young man? He was the heavenly beast sect's ancestor. Was he an existence that surpassed the god king Tianming? Lu Yiping stepped forward, looking at Qin Yuan. We're here to look for Cong Song. Is Cong Song here? Tell him to come out and see me. You're looking for our ancestor? Qin Yuan was stunned, and so were the heavenly palace's experts. Why are you looking for our ancestor? Qin Yuan looked doubtfully at Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping was too lazy to ask more questions. A suction force pulled Qin Yuan in front of him. Then he took out Qin Yuan's memory fragments and studied them. A short while later, Lu Yiping released Qin Yuan. Main Spirit Sea. From Qin Yuan's memory fragments, Huang Xiaolong knew that Cong Song had been living in seclusion on an island in the Main Spirit Sea for many years. The Main Spirit Sea was one of the biggest sea regions in the divine world, several hundred times bigger than the Blood Devil continent. It was connected to almost 100 continents. The spiritual energy in the Main Spirit Sea was abundant. Thus many experts lived in seclusion in the Main Spirit Sea. Qin Yuan felt his consciousness slip away, falling back to the ground, looking at Lu Yiping in fear. Tell the Blood Devil sect that if they want to find me, they can come to the Main Spirit Sea. Lu Yiping said indifferently, then turned to Taurus Longjiao and Heavenly Beast. Let's go. Just as Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Heavenly Beast were about to leave, the sound of whistling wind reached their ears. You came to my heavenly palace, killed my heavenly palace's honored guest, and injured my heavenly palace's palace lord. Are you going to leave just like that? A cold voice sounded. Qin Yuan and the others were overjoyed. It was the heavenly palace's ancestors. A sword light pierced through the sky from afar, aiming at Lu Yiping's group. This sword light contained shocking flames. Fire law over God realm. Someone in the crowd exclaimed. Overgods were existences that surpassed the god King Tianming. On the blood-fiend continent, sovereigns were the true overlords. Taurus Longjiao snorted coldly when he sensed the sword light behind him. He swung his golden staff backward and a pillar of golden light instantly destroyed the sword light. With a muffled scream, a person fell from the sky and crashed onto the main peak of the heavenly palace. It's Lord Wanghua. Many experts recognized the great ancestor of the heavenly palace, and they were all shocked. Wanghua was the strongest expert in the heavenly palace after Cong Song. Lu Yiping and the other two left through the air. Wanghua smashed into the main peak of the heavenly palace and stood up from the ruins of the main peak. Looking in the direction Lu Yiping and the other two had left, he touched the blood at the corner of his mouth and felt his heart palpitate. In his mind, he kept recalling the various powers contained in that strike. Lord Wanghua. The heavenly palace's patriarchs rushed to Wanggua's side in shock. Wanghua waved his hand and said, "I'm fine." However, after saying that, he coughed out a mouthful of blood. Everyone was shocked. Wanghua was a sovereign of fire, and he had already cultivated 17 types of elemental laws of fire, but he still couldn't block that casual strike. Wanghua took out a medicinal pill and swallowed it. Moments later, his complexion improved, and he said to the others, "Those three should have gone to the Sovereign Sea to find the Patriarch. I'm going to personally go to the Sovereign Sea and report to the Patriarch. Wait for my news in the Heavenly Palace." After saying this, he didn't wait for the others to respond. He turned into a streak of fiery light and disappeared into the horizon. The Sovereign Sea was vast and boundless. By the time Lu Yiping and the other two arrived at the Sovereign Sea, it was already dusk. Under the evening sun, the Sovereign Sea glowed with a faint glow, exuding a gentle beauty. The sea breeze blew past, but it didn't smell like salty seawater or fish. Instead, it was refreshing and refreshing. The environment of this Sovereign Sea isn't bad. Taurus Longjiao laughed. We might as well occupy an island here and cultivate for a few days. Some of the better islands in the Sovereign Sea have already been occupied by others. Lu Yiping said. Because the Sovereign Sea was rich in spiritual energy, many sect experts from the surrounding continents entered the Sovereign Sea to cultivate. Over the years, some of the better islands had already been occupied by some sect experts, who had built their palaces and residences there. Because many of the islands had sovereign-level experts, they were called the Sovereign Sea. Taurus Longjiao laughed. It doesn't matter if others occupy them. We'll set up a dove's nest. After all, these islands might have been occupied by others. In this world, strength was everything. It was so in the divine world, the lower realm, and even more so in the upper realm. The better islands in the Sovereign Sea were all occupied by strength. Lu Yiping and the other two soared through the air, entering the Sovereign Sea and flying southeast. The island Cong Song occupied was southeast of the Sovereign Sea. They didn't stop. Lu Yiping and the other two continued to fly forward. Occasionally, they would encounter attacks from sea beasts, and the three of them would be sent flying. The Sovereign Sea had existed for a long time. Before human experts occupied islands to cultivate, it was a breeding ground for sea beasts. Thus, there were many sea beasts in the Sovereign Sea. Few days later, an island shaped like a giant turtle appeared in Lu Yiping and the other two's line of sight. This island, called the Spirit Turtle Island, was the island where Cong Song lived in seclusion. However, this Spirit Turtle Island was occupied by Cong Song and another expert called Su Donghe. The two of them each had half of it. Cong Song's cave abode was south of the Spirit Turtle Island. The Spirit Turtle Island was not big, only 1,000 square kilometers. The three of them headed south of the Spirit Turtle Island. Soon, the three of them saw Cong Song's cave abode. The cave abode was not big, only a few thousand square meters. The materials used were not bad, and there was a big pine tree in front of the cave abode, making the entire cave abode look simple and quiet. At this moment, Cong Song and his disciple Shan Fei were sitting in the main hall of the cave abode. Shan Fei said angrily, "A few years ago, Su Donghe hooked up with Lord Futu. These few years he's gone overboard. 3 years ago, he asked for 80% of the Spirit Turtle Divine Elixir. 2 years ago, he asked for 70% of the Spirit Turtle Island, and now he's asking for all of the Spirit Turtle Divine Elixir. He continued angrily, I think next year, he might ask for all of the Spirit Turtle Island to be his. At that time, he'll kick us out of the Spirit Turtle Island. Song Song did not speak. He was also angry, but more than that he felt helpless. At this moment, Song Song's pill apprentice came in and reported, Lord Sectmaster, there are 3 people outside. One of them calls himself Lu Yiping and says he wants to see you. What did you say? Lu Yiping? Song Song heard and stood up abruptly. He said in shock, he's called Lu Yiping? Yes, this is his identity medallion. The pill apprentice was surprised to see Song Song's shocked expression. He quickly presented an identity medallion to Song Song. Song Song took the medallion and saw the inscriptions on it. His body shook violently, and he was so excited that he almost rushed out of the main hall. His disciple Shan Fei and the pill apprentice were stunned, but they quickly followed him out. Soon, Song Song came out of the cave abode and saw Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Tian Shou standing in front of the cave abode's entrance. Chapter 351. Song Song was surprised to see Heavenly Beast, but when he saw Lu Yiping, his entire body trembled with excitement. He walked up to Lu Yiping and knelt down, kowtowing respectfully. His voice was filled with excitement as he said, Disciple Song Song greets Master. Dan Fei, who had followed them out, looked at Lu Yiping in shock. This blue-robed young man was his master's master. Wasn't that his grandmaster? At that moment, Song Song bowed respectfully to Taurus Longjiao and said, Little Song greets Lord Shaojin. Lu Yiping helped Song Song up. Taurus Longjiao looked at Song Song and grinned. Little Song, long time no see. You're still as handsome as ever. Hearing Taurus Longjiao's familiar tone, Song Song felt a warm feeling in his heart. He smiled and said, In terms of handsomeness, Little Song is far from Lord Shaojin. Taurus Longjiao laughed heartily. I like hearing that. Heavenly Beast stepped forward and bowed respectfully to Song Song. Little Tian greets Master. Song Song helped Heavenly Beast up and smiled. And you've grown much stronger than before. Then he asked Dan Fei to greet Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Heavenly Beast. After Dan Fei greeted the 3 of them, Song Song smiled at Lu Yiping and said, This little brat is the only disciple I've accepted after ascending to the upper realm. Lu Yiping looked at Dan Fei and said, Not bad. He could tell that Dan Fei's soul was special. Immediately after, Song Song happily invited Lu Yiping and the other 2 into the cave. After inviting Lu Yiping into the cave, Song Song was embarrassed and said to Lu Yiping, Every inch of land in the Master God Sea is worth its weight in gold. This cave is a little shabby, and I've embarrassed myself in front of Master and Lord Shaojin. Taurus Longjiao looked at Song Song and said, Little Songzi, you've been progressing slowly. Don't tell me you've been spending all these years picking up girls? Song Song was taken aback. He scratched his head in front of Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao like a child who had done something wrong. He said, In the hundreds of thousands of years after I ascended to the upper worlds, I was busy building the heavenly palace and developing its forces. I neglected my cultivation and failed to live up to the expectations of my master and Lord Shaojin. Suddenly, someone shouted from outside the cave, The Heavenly Dipper Divine Palace has come to visit. When Song Song and Dan Fei heard this, they both frowned. The Heavenly Dipper God Manor was Su Dongha's abode. A few days ago, Su Dongha had suggested that the Spirit Turtle Divine Elixir produced annually by the Spirit Turtle Island would belong to his abode. He had asked them to consider it for a few days, and today was the deadline for a reply. Lu Yiping saw Song Song's expression and asked, This Heavenly Dipper God Manor is Su Dongha's abode? Song Song was taken aback, then nodded, It is Su Dongha's abode. Dan Fei angrily told them about Su Dongha's excessive demands in the past few years. Only then did Lu Yiping and the others know that the Spirit Turtle Island had a core that produced several hundred drops of Spirit Turtle Divine Elixir every year. This was the Spirit Turtle Island's most precious treasure. In the past, Song Song and Su Dongha had agreed to each take half, but in the past few years, Su Dongha's demands had become more and more excessive after he climbed up to the overlord of the Prime Divine Sea, Floating Dragon. Oh, now they want all the spirit turtle divine elixir. The heavenly beast frowned. Dan Fei nodded and said angrily, 3 years ago, they wanted 80% of the spirit turtle divine elixir, and now they want all of it. It's obvious that they want to drive us away and monopolize the spirit turtle island. If we don't have the spirit turtle divine elixir, we might as well return to the heavenly palace on the Blood Devil continent to cultivate. Without the spirit turtle divine elixir, there was no need to stay on the spirit turtle island. Let them in, Lu Yiping said. Song Song respectfully acknowledged and immediately opened the abode's grand formation to let the people from the Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor in. The group that came was led by Su Dongha's eldest disciple Mu Xiaojiang. Mu Xiaojiang brought the Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor's experts into the hall and smiled at Song Song. Senior Song Song, today is the last day of my master's proposal. What do you think? Before Song Song could speak, Taurus Longjiao said, in the future, all the spirit turtle divine elixir will belong to the Song Song abode. Mu Xiaojiang and the Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor's experts were stunned. Who are you? Mu Xiaojiang's face darkened as he looked at Taurus Longjiao. What did you mean just now? Taurus Longjiao suddenly slapped Mu Xiaojiang to the ground and said, not only the spirit turtle divine elixir, everything in the spirit turtle island will belong to the Song Song abode. Go back and tell your master to scram tomorrow. If he doesn't scram, then I'll make him scram. Mu Xiaojiang felt as if his entire body was flattened by Taurus Longjiao's sudden slap. He was shocked and angry. He was a 13-mandate divine king, the strongest person below the sovereign god of the surrounding hundreds of islands. But now he was slapped to the ground by this golden retriever and couldn't even move. The dozen or so Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor experts who came with Mu Xiaojiang were also shocked. However, these Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor experts were all mandate divine kings and didn't dare to attack. Taurus Longjiao kicked Mu Xiaojiang out of the Song Song abode and rolled all the way to the shore of the Spirit Turtle Island. Sand billowed and seawater splashed. The other Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor experts fled in panic. Mu Xiaojiang's face was full of resentment, but he didn't dare to say anything and fled back to the Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor. Inside the Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor, Su Dongha was accompanying Wu Hua from the Pagoda Dragon Manor with a smile on his face. Lord Wu Hua has descended upon our Spirit Turtle Island, bringing light to our Spirit Turtle Island. Su Dongha smiled and presented a jade bottle to Wu Hua. This is our Spirit Turtle Divine Elixir. I hope Lord Wu Hua will kindly accept it. Wu Hua opened the jade bottle and looked at the several thousand drops of Spirit Turtle Divine Elixir inside. He smiled and said, that Song Song, do you want me to make him move out of the Spirit Turtle Island? Su Dongha smiled. I already told Song Song that the Spirit Turtle Island's Spirit Turtle Divine Elixir will belong to my Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor in the future. If he knows what's good for him, he will obediently leave the Spirit Turtle Island. On account of our past relationship, I won't make things difficult for him. His eyes narrowed as he said this, however. If he doesn't know what's good for him, then don't blame me for not taking into account our past relationship. Just as he said this, he saw Mu Xiaojiang and the Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor experts fleeing back in a sorry state. Su Dongha and Wu Hua were surprised. What happened? Su Dongha looked at Mu Xiaojiang's face, which was completely black from friction, and asked with a dark expression. Mu Xiaojiang explained the matter and repeated Taurus Longjiao's original words. Tell me to scram? The Spirit Turtle Island belongs to the Song Song Manor? Su Dongha laughed in anger. Wu Hua rubbed the jade bottle containing the Spirit Turtle Divine Elixir. Some people are tired of living. He then said to Su Dongha, I'll go with you to the Song Song Manor. Su Dongha stood up and bowed to thank Wu Hua. He then led the group of Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor experts to the Song Song Manor. Soon the group arrived at the Song Song Manor. Su Dongha was about to speak when Wu Hua cut him off. No need to go through so much trouble. A giant hammer appeared in his hand and he swung it at the Song Song Manor. Chapter 352. When Wu Hua swung his hammer down, a fiery light burst out, and fiery strands of fire law wrapped around the hammer. These fire laws contained a total of 41 types of laws. Between heaven and earth, there were 13 types of origin laws. water, wood, wind, fire, earth, metal, lightning, poison, darkness, light, time, space, and fate. Each type of origin law contained 99 types of energy. Every time one comprehended an additional type of energy, the power of one's origin law attack would greatly increase. Now that Wu Hua had comprehended 41 types of fire law, the power of his hammer could be imagined. If Wu Hua's hammer landed on Song Song's cultivation dwelling, it would definitely be reduced to dust. Although Song Song was the Heavenly Palace's ancestral master, he had only comprehended 35 types of water law. The array formation he set up would definitely not be able to withstand Wu Hua's hammer. Just as Wu Hua's hammer was about to hit Song Song's cultivation dwelling, a giant golden palm appeared out of nowhere and grabbed the hammer. The moment this giant golden palm grabbed Wu Hua's hammer, the 41 types of fire law energy contained in the hammer exploded and disappeared without a trace. Wu Hua, Su Donghe, and the several hundred Heavenly Dipper Divine Manners experts were stunned. Then, everyone looked at the giant golden palm that appeared out of nowhere. Wu Hua looked at Song Song's cultivation dwelling in shock. Song Song's strength was much lower than his, and this giant golden palm was clearly not Song Song's method. At this time, the giant golden palm emitted a bright light, and the hammer in Wu Hua's hand was knocked out of his hand. Wu Hua's palm exploded from the impact. But this was not the end. The giant golden palm grabbed Wu Hua's neck and pulled him down from the sky, smashing him to the ground. With a loud bang, the giant golden palm dragged Wu Hua into Song Song's cultivation dwelling. Su Donghe and the others were dumbfounded as they watched Wu Hua being dragged into Song Song's cultivation dwelling like a dog. Song Song's cultivation dwelling emitted a bright light as the grand array formation opened. Su Donghe looked at Song Song's cultivation dwelling and hesitated for a moment before carefully entering with the Heavenly Dipper Divine Manners experts. When they arrived at the main hall, they saw Wu Hua, who had just been dragged into the cave like a dog, being held by the neck by a burly golden retriever. Wu Hua's face was as red as violet as he stood there, completely unable to move. He was like a little fish whose strength had been completely suppressed. His mouth was wide open as he tried to breathe, but found it hard to do so. Wu Hua's eyes were filled with rage and killing intent. Su Donghe and the others were greatly shocked. Taurus Longjiao looked at the group of experts from Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor before his gaze landed on Su Donghe. It seems that you're not convinced that I told you to scram from Spirit Turtle Island? Su Donghe stuttered. How should I address you, sir? Lord Wu Hua is a general under Lord Long Futu. Dragon Stupa? Taurus Longjiao laughed. And then? Su Donghe choked. All of a sudden, Taurus Longjiao tightened his grip. Wu Hua's eyes were filled with fear as he tried to struggle, but it was to no avail as he was crushed into pieces. Looking at Wu Hua, who was crushed to death, not only Su Donghe, but even Song Song and Shan Fei were shocked. They did not expect Taurus Longjiao to kill Wu Hua so easily. Dragon Stupa was a master god who had comprehended 70 types of wind element laws. He was also the strongest expert in the surrounding several hundred islands. Among these several hundred islands, no one dared to challenge Dragon Stupa's prestige and status, much less kill a general under him. After killing Wu Hua, Taurus Longjiao looked at Su Donghe and the group of Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor experts. Su Donghe and the group of Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor experts paled, retreating in fear. However, just as they were about to retreat, the giant golden palm appeared once again. Su Donghe roared, "You killed Lord Wu Hua. You won't be able to escape the Master God Sea." But his voice stopped abruptly. With a loud bang, Su Donghe and the group of Heavenly Dipper Divine Manor experts were slammed to the ground by the giant golden palm. None of them managed to escape. Su Donghe and the rest did not even have the chance to attack. Shan Fei found it hard to calm down. Su Donghe and his master Song Song were equally matched in strength, and among the several dozen experts under Su Donghe's command, more than a dozen of them were Master God-level experts. Yet, they were still killed by this Lord Shaojin with a single palm. Song Song smiled wryly in his heart. They had not seen each other for nearly 2 million years, but Lord Shaojin had not changed at all. He was still as decisive as before. However, thinking about Dragon Stupa and the group of experts on Stupa Island, Song Song felt a little anxious. Song Song and Lu Yiping's disciples were the same. They only knew that Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were very powerful, but they did not know what realm they had reached. What is this dragon stupa's strength? Lu Yiping asked. Song Song straightened his face and said respectfully, Master, this dragon stupa is a wind over god. He has already comprehended 70 types of wind element energy. I heard that he is currently comprehending the 71st type of wind element energy. Moreover, some people say that Dragon Stupa is from the Jade Water Palace. Jade Water Palace? Lu Yiping asked. Song Song nodded with a solemn expression. The Overgod Sea is divided into 4 seas. The Jade Water Palace is one of the 3 superpowers of the Southern Sea. The Palace Master of the Jade Water Palace is a lightning overgod. He has comprehended 99 types of lightning element energy. 99 types of lightning element energy. The heavenly beast was shocked. This was already the peak of a master god. Song Song continued. The Jade Water Palace Master is one of the 3 superpowers of the Southern Sea. He has also obtained the inheritance of a god emperor from the Thunder Division of the ancient heavenly court. Oh, the inheritance of a god emperor from the Thunder Division of the ancient heavenly court. Taurus Longjiao was surprised. Even in the ancient heavenly court, god-ranking experts were overlords. Lu Yiping asked, who is in charge of the divine world now? Song Song shook his head. Several million years ago, the barbarian dragon overlord fell, and the divine world fell into chaos. The barbarian dragon overlord's subordinates split up and declared themselves kings. Taurus Longjiao asked, so, there is no overlord of the divine world now? Song Song nodded. Yes. Lu Yiping asked a few more questions about the divine world before getting up and heading to Su Dongha's Heavenly Dipper Manor with Taurus Longjiao and Song Song. There were only a few ordinary overgod guards left in the Heavenly Dipper Manor. Taurus Longjiao cleaned them up and had Song Song move everything out of the Heavenly Dipper Manor. At the same time, Lu Yiping and the rest made some simple changes to the Spirit Turtle Island. Lu Yiping tore down the Heavenly Dipper Manor and expanded Song Song's dwelling several times. At the same time, he set up a Myriad Soul Gathering Divine Formation. The moment the Myriad Soul Gathering Divine Formation was formed, streams of spiritual energy poured into the Spirit Turtle Island like a waterfall from the depths of the void. Dan Fei couldn't be sure as he looked at the streams of spiritual energy in the depths of the void. Is this primeval spiritual energy? Sovereign realm experts use their cultivation techniques to devour primeval spiritual energy. This primeval spiritual energy was hidden in the depths of the divine world, and only sovereign realm experts could devour it. While Lu Yiping and the Dragonhorn Golden Ox were modifying Spirit Turtle Island, Dragon Stupa was cultivating in a secret room. Gusts of purple wind gathered around him, constantly evolving. Sometimes they would condense into various divine beasts, and sometimes they would condense into gods of the wind element. Each of these wind elemental gods was 100 times stronger than Wu Hua. Chapter 353. After a long time, Long Futu stopped cultivating and walked out of the secret chamber. When he walked out, he saw Wei Quan waiting respectfully outside. What is it? Normally, Wei Quan wouldn't come to the secret chamber unless there was something important. My lord, Wu Hua has gone missing, Wei Quan said. Missing? Long Futu looked at Wei Quan in surprise. I wanted to send him to White Tiger Island, but I couldn't contact him, Wei Quan said. Where did he go before he went missing? Long Futu asked. Spirit Turtle Island, Wei Quan said. Long Futu stopped in his tracks. Spirit Turtle Island? Wei Quan nodded. I sent Zhou Jun and Sun Gang over, but just now I lost contact with Zhou Jun and Sun Gang. Long Futu's expression changed. Both Zhou Jun and Sun Gang were with sovereigns who had cultivated 52 types of energy. Even the two of them had lost contact? Spirit Turtle Island. Long Futu's eyes flickered. What do you think about this? Wei Quan said solemnly. Wu Hua probably went to Spirit Turtle Island to see Heavenly Dipper Manor Su Dongha. His disappearance should be related to Su Dongha. I remember that apart from Su Dongha, Spirit Turtle Island also has someone called Song Song. Long Futu suddenly said. Song Song. Wei Quan was stunned. My lord, are you saying that Wu Hua's disappearance might be related to this Song Song? However, I understand this Song's strength. He is only a water sovereign who has comprehended 35 types of water energy. Among the 13 types of sovereigns, water sovereigns were the weakest in terms of attack power. Moreover, Song had only comprehended 35 types of water energy. Check if there are any abnormalities in Spirit Turtle Island recently. Long Fudu said thoughtfully. Several days passed in this manner. Lu Yiping sat cross-legged in Song's palace on Spirit Turtle Island, absorbing Jianshu's profound yellow energy. Recently, his immortal heavenly wood art had reached the peak of the 7th level, just half a step away from breaking through to the 8th level. Early in the morning, the sun shone brightly. Lu Yiping walked out of the palace and saw Taurus Longjiao sitting cross-legged on the shore of Spirit Turtle Island, fishing leisurely with a fishing rod in hand. Lu Yiping could not help but smile when he saw this. This guy is interested in fishing? Lu Yiping took a step forward and arrived beside Taurus Longjiao. Master. Taurus Longjiao grinned and said, the spirit turtle fish in the waters around Spirit Turtle Island are fat and big. It's almost the new year, so I'll catch a few. When the time comes, we'll have a barbecue fish feast. Lu Yiping was speechless. If you have so much free time, you might as well cultivate. Taurus Longjiao smiled and said, anyway, even if the sky falls, Master will hold it up. My half-assed cultivation base is more or less enough. Song walked over from afar and said with a smile, Lord Xiaojin is too humble. He came in front of the two and greeted them, saying, Master, it's almost the new year. It's rare that Master and Lord Xiaojin are here, so I plan to buy some New Year goods. This year, our Spirit Turtle Island will be lively. Lu Yiping smiled and said, that's good too. During the thousands of years in the heavenly palace in the lower realm, he had been cultivating in seclusion and did not spend the new year with Tianshou and the others. Where are you going to buy New Year goods? We'll go with you and take a look around the main God Ocean, Lu Yiping said. It'll be great if Master and Lord Xiaojin go together. There's a market on Carefree Godly Island, one of the biggest markets in our main God Ocean. There's a lot of stuff there, Song said. We plan to take a look at Carefree Godly Island. Then let's go to Carefree Godly Island, Lu Yiping said with a smile. A moment later, they left Spirit Turtle Island. Chapter 354. Blood Demon's Hand. Flame Demon's Bloodprint. Over 20 overgods of the Blood Demon Church and several dozen god kings worked together, causing the world to shake violently. Destructive energy blasted towards Lu Yiping's group of 6. The experts in the surroundings all retreated in shock. It's the Blood Demon Church. The Blood Demon Church was the most powerful force on the Blood Demon continent. Even in the Overgod Sea, they were very famous. Just as the destructive power of the Blood Demon Church's experts was about to strike Lu Yiping and the others, Lu Yiping waved his sleeves casually and the space collapsed. The destructive power of the Blood Demon Church's experts exploded in midair like fireworks. Afterwards, the Blood Demon Church's experts were all sent flying as if they had suffered a heavy blow, smashing into the walls of Carefree City. There was a loud boom. The walls of Carefree City shook violently, on the verge of collapsing. Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. The young man on the Golden Crow spaceship, who had asked his subordinates to investigate the Black Dragon spaceship, saw this scene from afar and was shocked. The 20-odd master gods of the Blood Demon Church were not ordinary master gods. The weakest among them had comprehended 15 types of power, while the strongest had comprehended 40 types of power. They were actually sent flying by this blue-robed young man. Most importantly, this blue-robed young man had only waved his hand gently. He had not used any law origin energy. Elder Yen, can you tell what law origin energy the blue-robed young man used when he attacked? The young man asked an old man beside him. Elder Yen shook his head with a solemn expression. This young man is very strong. He's probably no weaker than Li Yu of the Blood Demon Church. No weaker than Li Yu? That can't be, right? Some of the experts on the Golden Crow flying ship did not believe it. Li Yu was the most powerful expert on the Blood Demon continent. Li Yu and Li Guang looked at the experts of the Blood Demon Church who had been sent flying. They were also shocked and surprised. Liu looked at Liu Yiping, and his gaze gradually changed. Liu stared at Liu Yiping. Sir, you are not weak. I have underestimated you. Looks like you are a late-over god. Those who had comprehended more than 70 types of law origin energy were late-over gods. Liu Yiping said indifferently, I am an ancient god. I can kill you too. Everyone was stunned by Liu Yiping's words. The Golden Crow youngsters also frowned. Ancient gods could kill master gods? This blue-robed young man is too preposterous. No matter how powerful an ancient god is, they can only kill a god king with 1 or 2 wills. I've never heard of an ancient god being able to kill a god king with 4 wills or more, let alone an over god. A beautiful woman beside the young man shook her head. Hearing this, Liu laughed out loud. An ancient god can also kill me? Make your move. Liu Yiping's expression was indifferent. Liu's eyes turned cold. Light surged from his body as origin source laws shot into the air and wrapped around him. These origin source laws shone with a dazzling golden light. 72 types of metal elemental energy. The Golden Crow youngster was astonished. Fate, space, time, light, darkness, poison, lightning, metal, earth, fire, wind, wood, and water. Among the 13 origin laws, the laws of metal were ranked 8th. The offensive power of the law of gold far surpassed the laws of earth, fire, wind, wood, and water. The stronger the law, the harder it was to comprehend. Liu's comprehension of the 72 types of metal elemental energy shocked the surrounding experts. Liu activated the 72 types of metal elemental energy and suddenly sent a palm strike towards Liu Yiping. Great Golden Buddha Palm. When the palm struck out, a golden Buddha's palm broke through the air. Within the golden Buddha's palm, there was a faint shadow of a huge golden Buddha. The Buddha's light illuminated the entire Carefree Divine Island. All the experts in Carefree City were alarmed. Many experts rushed out from Carefree City. It's the Blood Demon Church's ancestral master, Liu. When they saw that the attacker was the Blood Demon Church's ancestral master, many experts were shocked. The Golden Crow youngster looked at the ordinary Great Golden Buddha palm and narrowed his eyes. This is the Great Golden Buddha palm from the ancient era? The ancient era's Golden Buddha temple was famous across the divine world. It's the Great Golden Buddha palm. Elder Yin nodded. The Great Golden Buddha palm is powered by Liu's 72 types of metal elemental energy. Its power is no weaker than the Great Golden Buddha palm used by the ancient era's experts. Let's see how this blue-robed young man deals with it. Everyone's attention was on Liu Yiping. Just as Liu's Great Golden Buddha palm was about to hit Liu Yiping, heaven and earth trembled violently. It was like the entire Carefree City's space was about to explode. What's going on? Someone exclaimed. As soon as his words fell, everyone saw an incomparably huge shadow breaking through the air. When this huge shadow rose, huge waves rolled out, and the ground shook. The entire Carefree City quaked. This is a totem. Elder Yen was dumbfounded as he looked at the incomparably huge shadow breaking through the air. Totem. It's a totem. The Golden Crow youngster and the surrounding experts were also dumbfounded. Disbelief was written all over their faces. Even in the divine world's upper worlds, this was the first time the god kings and overgods had seen such a huge totem. Even Li Yu and Li Guang were shocked. Is this really a totem? An ancestor in the crowd exclaimed. Is he really going to fight Li Yu with his ancient god strength? Amidst the commotion, another black shadow of the same size flew out. Then, before everyone's eyes, totem after totem flew out. 14 totems. When the 14 totems flew out, everyone was shocked. Just as everyone was shocked, the 15th totem flew out. 15 totems. The Golden Crow youngster exclaimed. Could he be like Sui Tai and the others, able to condense more than 20 totems? In the divine world's upper worlds, there were some eternal monsters that could condense more than 20 totems. However, these eternal monsters were extremely rare. Every time an eternal monster with more than 20 totems appeared, it would shock many mainlands in the divine world. The Sui Tai mentioned by the Golden Crow had already condensed 24 totems when he was still an ancient god. Soon 16 totems, 17 totems, 23 totems. When Liu Yiping's 23 totems flew out, everyone held their breaths. Sui Tai was the Sui family's eternal monster genius. Would this blue-robed young man be like Sui Tai, condensing 24 totems? While everyone was still holding their breaths, heaven and earth shook once again, and 24 totems flew out. Just when everyone thought it was over, heaven and earth shook again, and 25 totems flew out. 25 totems. Everyone was shocked. He wouldn't be like Wen Yufeng, condensing 26 totems, would he? An expert stuttered, uttering the name of a monstrous genius that resounded throughout the divine world. Wen Yufeng had condensed 26 totems, and each totem was shockingly large, hailed as the divine world's strongest monstrous genius in the last 3 million years. Before everyone's eyes, 26 totems flew out, but 27 totems followed closely behind, appearing in everyone's line of sight. Chapter 355. 27 Totems. Everyone looked at the 27 totems in a daze. The Golden Crow youth said, 27 totems? Wen Yufeng, known as the strongest monstrous genius of the divine world in the last 3 million years, had condensed 26 totems. But this blue-clothed youth had condensed 27 totems. Liu was also stunned, but everyone saw another totem fly out. 28. Then 29. 30. 31. Totem after totem flew out. Everyone looked at the totems that covered the sky, and their minds went blank. 40 totems. The Golden Crow youth trembled. When Liu Yiping's 40 totems flew out, everyone was shocked beyond words. In the end, the 49 totems stood tall in the 9 heavens. The radiance of the 49 totems illuminated the cities and the entire free unfettered divine island. Even the sea around the island was illuminated by the radiance of the 49 totems. The waves of energy rolled up by the totems tumbled like the sea, crashing into every corner of Carefree God Island, crashing into the tens of thousands of miles of sea around Carefree God Island. The world was as dark as an abyss. In the nearby seas, thousands of waves rolled up, as if they were about to flip over. Carefree City was the main city of Carefree Island, and also the largest city. But in front of the 49 totems it was still much smaller. When the 49 totems flew out, the air currents froze. Liu Yiping suddenly punched out. Fist light shot out. Gods, immortals and Buddhas appeared. This fist seemed to gather all the strength of the world. This fist seemed to come from another era. This fist had already surpassed the strength of everyone's understanding. The fist waves howled, and Liyu's great golden Buddha palm was instantly pierced through. The Buddhist light that filled the sky suddenly stopped. The golden Buddha phantoms in the great golden Buddha palm also disappeared without a trace. Bang! A heaven-shaking explosion spread throughout Carefree God Island. After the fist waves pierced through the great golden Buddha palm, they instantly arrived in front of Liu. Liu roared in shock. Golden light burst out from his body as he frantically punched out with both fists, trying to block the fists of the gods, immortals and Buddhas. However, in the next moment, he felt an unimaginably powerful force rushing towards him. He was instantly sent flying like a withered leaf by a violent storm. Liu smashed into the wall of Liberty City. Liberty City exploded, and the city wall hummed. Centered at the place where Liu hit, cracks began to appear. The cracks expanded non-stop and covered the city wall one after another. Liu Yiping's fists, on the other hand, hit the city wall of Liberty City. In a deafening explosion, the shockwaves spread out, raising a sandstorm that lasted for a long time. Some cities that were extremely far away were also rumbling from the impact of the fist waves. After a long time, the sandstorm stopped. Everybody who had retreated far away in fear looked over, only to discover that the ground around Liberty City had been raised and dented. Many spaceships failed to escape in time and were blown thousands of kilometers away. Liu himself, on the other hand, was lying at the foot of the wall of Liberty City like a dead dog. His body had been torn apart beyond recognition, and the bloodstains on his body were appalling. Everybody was astounded. Liu, an overgod who had comprehended 72 types of metal elemental powers, had been defeated by an ancient god. This blue-robed young man had really defeated an overgod with the power of an ancient god. Moreover, it was an overgod who had mastered 72 types of metal elemental powers. Everybody was astounded in disbelief, shock, and fear. Besides Song Song, Wang Guo and Dan Fei were equally astounded. As Song Song's master, Lu Yiping should also be an over-god. Chapter 356. Various thoughts flashed through Yang Su's mind. Looking at Lu Yiping, he cupped his fists and said, "This one is the young sect master of the marvelous divine sect, Yang Su. I wonder if there is any enmity between Li Yu and your excellency? Yang Su is one of my father's subordinates. If your excellency can give my marvelous divine sect some face and let Li Yu go, my marvelous divine sect will be eternally grateful." Yang Su's attitude was extremely sincere and polite. Who was Yang Su? He was the young sect master of the marvelous divine sect, one of the four great forces in the Overgod Sea. It could be said that if he wanted wind, if he wanted rain, he could get rain. Even if he was facing a peak Overgod realm master, he didn't need to be so polite. But now, he was being polite and sincere to Lu Yiping. Everyone turned to look at Lu Yiping, including the Golden Crow youth. However, Lu Yiping didn't look at Yang Su, nor did he respond. He continued to walk towards Li Yu. Yang Su and the others from the marvelous god sect frowned. At this time, Lu Yiping suddenly punched out. 49 totems were activated, and fist waves rolled out, piercing through the sky as it shot towards Li Yu. Li Yu's face paled as he fled towards Yang Su's flying ship. At the same time, he shouted, "Young sect master, save me." Beside Yang Su, the marvelous divine sect's grand elder Lin Qing was enraged when he saw the fist waves flying towards Li Yu. He suddenly punched out to meet Lu Yiping's fist waves, wanting to block Lu Yiping's fist waves. Boom! The two fist waves collided. However, Lu Yiping's fist waves instantly blasted Lin Qing's fist waves away before slamming into Li Yu's body with unstoppable force. Li Yu was smashed into the marvelous divine sect's flying ship, causing it to sway from the impact. At the same time, Li Yu's body exploded, his flesh and blood flying everywhere. The marvelous flying ship was filled with Li Yu's flesh and blood. Many of the marvelous divine sect's experts couldn't dodge in time, and were sent flying by the fist waves. Lin Qing, who wanted to block Lu Yiping's fist waves, was sent flying out of the marvelous divine sect's flying ship. Everyone was shocked. Yang Su was pushed back by the shockwave. After he steadied himself, he glared at Lu Yiping angrily. At this time, Li Guang soared into the air, wanting to escape. Just as Li Guang flew up, he saw a gigantic golden pillar slamming down from the sky. Li Guang was directly blasted into the ground by the golden pillar. The Golden Crow young man looked at the golden pillar that was tens of thousands of feet tall, and looked like a mountain of gold. He was shocked and doubtful. A Khanate cardinal treasure? Above acquired spiritual treasures were acquired cardinal treasures, Khanate spiritual treasures, and Khanate cardinal treasures. Even in the upper realm, innate supreme treasures were rare. For example, the Origin Wondrous Divine Sect, one of the four great forces in the Prime Spirit Sea, only had one innate supreme treasure, the Wondrous Diagram. Taurus Longjiao reached out and grabbed the heavenly pillar. The heavenly pillar shrank and returned to his hand. Everyone looked at Taurus Longjiao. At this time, a loud bang rang out as Lin Qing, who had been sent flying out of the extraordinary wonder ship, crashed to the ground. Lin Qing vomited blood as he glared at Lu Yiping in shock and anger. He was a wind element overgod who had comprehended 90 types of wind element force, yet he couldn't withstand a single punch from Lu Yiping. Several hundred Origin Wondrous Divine Sect experts were about to step forward, but Yang Su hurriedly ordered them to retreat. In the end, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's group of 6 left by stepping on air. After Lu Yiping's group left, Yang Su also left with the Origin Wondrous Divine Sect. The Golden Crow young man looked at Lu Yiping's departing figure and said, "This person's battle strength is probably comparable to a peak over god. Someone who had cultivated all 99 types of power to the limit would be known as a peak lord of a particular power." Although Lin Qing had comprehended 90 types of wind element force, compared to a peak over god with 99 types of wind element force, the difference in battle strength was huge. A peak over god? That's impossible, right? An expert beside the Golden Crow young man said. Elder Yen looked at Liu Yiping's departing figure and said, I'm afraid it's more than that. More than that. The Golden Crow young man and the Golden Crow clan experts were shocked. Overgods had a lifespan of tens of millions of years, and some overgods cultivated two types of laws. Elder Yen was saying that this blue-robed young man called Liu Yiping had battle strength comparable to a overgod who cultivated two types of laws? After Liu Yiping's group entered Liberty City, they went straight to the material market. However, Wang Guo and Dan Fei, who were following behind Liu Yiping, were still thinking about the scene of Li Yu being killed by the 49 totems. Wang Guo and Dan Fei were both Heavenly Palace experts who had grown up on the Blood Demon continent. It could be said that they had grown up listening to Li Yu's legends. To the experts of the various sects and clans on the Blood Demon continent, Li Yu was an insurmountable mountain. However, just now, this insurmountable mountain had been killed by Liu Yiping's ancient god power with a single punch. After arriving at the material market, Liu Yiping's group bought the materials they needed for the new year, then strolled around for a while before leaving Liberty City. By the time Liu Yiping's group left Liberty City, the news of Li Yu's death had already spread. The Overgod Sea and the 100 or so continents around the Overgod Sea were in an uproar. Li Yu was the #1 expert on the Blood Demon continent. His death was already shocking news, not to mention that he had been killed by an ancient god with 49 totems. After leaving Liberty City, Liu Yiping's group was in no hurry to return to Spirit Turtle Island. They walked and stopped along the way. By the time they returned to Spirit Turtle Island, the new year was near. Wang Guo, Dan Fei, Song Song, and Tianshou redecorated Spirit Turtle Island. Spirit Turtle Island was in a festive mood. Just as Wang Guo, Dan Fei, and Song Song were about to light a bonfire, Liu Yiping said there was no need. He then summoned the Sun Fusong tree. Song Song and the others were stunned as they looked at the Sun Fusong tree burning with sunfire. This is the Sun Fusong tree? Wang Guo stuttered, his voice trembling. Didn't they say that the Sun Fusong tree had been chopped down in ancient times? Let's use the sunfire to roast something later, Liu Yiping said. Use the sunfire of the Sun Fusong tree to roast something. Song Song and the others gulped. Taurus Longjiao took out a large bucket of spirit turtle fish that he had caught earlier. Then he picked up the biggest and fattest one and threw it up. The big and fat spirit turtle fish was thrown into the sunfire of the Sun Fusong tree. It fell down in the blink of an eye. When it fell down and extinguished, the fish's body emitted a fragrant aroma and a hint of golden fire. It was already cooked. Song Song and the others were dumbfounded as they looked at the spirit turtle fish that was already cooked. Is this even possible? Taurus Longjiao casually picked up another one and threw it up. As if he was juggling, he threw the fish up one by one. His movements were very practiced. In the several thousand years in the lower realm's heavenly palace, Liu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao had used sunfire to roast things many times. Therefore, Taurus Longjiao's movements were very practiced. While Taurus Longjiao was skillfully throwing the spirit turtle fish into the sunfire, Futu Island's dragon Futu glared at Wei Quan. What did you say? That brat in the ice prison escaped? Yes. Wei Quan lowered his head, not daring to look at Dragon Futu. Then why aren't you looking for him? Dragon Futu roared. If we can't find that brat and the higher-ups blame us, we will all die. Chapter 357. Yes, Lord. Wei Quan hurriedly added, Don't worry, Lord. I've already sent out experts to search for him. He can't have gone far. Floating Dragon ordered solemnly, seal off the surrounding sea region. Also, warn the divine palaces on the surrounding islands. Whoever dares to hide that kid, don't blame me for slaughtering them. Above a certain sea region southeast of Floating Dragon Island, a figure was dodging the Floating Dragon Island's expert search. This figure was none other than the ancient evil god Chong Liang, who had gone missing in the lower realm. Chong Liang's robe was tattered, and the evil god blade was nowhere to be seen. A voice sounded from afar, Kid, the surrounding sea region has been sealed off by our Floating Dragon Island. You can't escape. You'd better surrender obediently. Otherwise, when we catch you, you'll suffer. It was Floating Dragon Island's Wei Quan's voice. Changliang did not utter a word, continuing to fly with his aura concealed. Although Changliang was flying with his aura concealed, he was still discovered by Floating Dragon Island's experts. A group of Floating Dragon Island's master gods attacked, forcing Changliang to flee. While fleeing, Changliang saw a tortoise-shaped island in the distance. Just as he was about to fly toward the island, a flying blade whistled through the air. It was none other than his evil god blade. Changliang was alarmed. He tried to dodge, but he was a step too late. The evil god blade struck his back. The powerful force from the evil god blade propelled him forward. His throat heated up and he vomited a mouthful of blood. Changliang ignored his injuries and continued to flee. After the evil god blade struck Changliang, it spun in the air and returned to Wei Quan's hand. During the time Floating Dragon Island had imprisoned Changliang, Wei Quan had erased the evil god's divine sense from the evil god blade and reforged it into his own divine weapon. Indifferent, Wei Quan looked at Changliang, who was vomiting blood and running away. He sneered, "Kid, let's see where you can run to now." Then, he and the Floating Dragon Island's experts continued their pursuit. Changliang continued to flee, falling onto the tortoise-shaped island. By the time he landed on the island's surface, he was already at the end of his rope. He didn't even have the strength to crawl. Wei Quan and the Floating Dragon Island's experts rushed to the Spirit's Turtle Island. However, Wei Quan and the Floating Dragon Island's experts stopped. No one dared to enter the island. News of what had happened in Liberty City had already spread. Naturally, the experts of Futu Island had also heard about it. "Lord Wei Quan, what should we do?" one of the experts from Futu Island asked hesitantly. Wei Quan could not help but hesitate when he saw Changliang fall to the ground. He could tell that Changliang was already at the end of his rope. He had completely lost the ability to fight back. As long as they entered Spirit Turtle Island, they would be able to capture Changliang and bring him back. He was unwilling to give up just like that. He muttered, "We've only been on the island for a few breaths. As long as we bring this kid out, there shouldn't be any problems." Afterwards, he said to an overgod beside him, "Go in and take this kid out. Don't stay on Spirit Turtle Island any longer." The overgod nodded and snuck into the island. Afterwards, he flew towards Changliang, who had fallen on the ground. Inside the pine cavern, Taurus Longjiao, who was continuously throwing fish into the fire of the sun, suddenly stopped and said, "Someone came in." Lu Yiping opened his eye of lightning punishment. When he saw Changliang, who had fallen on the beach outside Spirit Turtle Island, he was stunned. Changliang. Taurus Longjiao was stunned. He also opened his heavenly eye and was overjoyed. It really is Changliang. His figure flashed and he disappeared from where he was. Lu Yiping also tore through the void, bringing Wang Guo, Shan Fei, and the others with him. Wang Guo, Shan Fei, and the others only felt the scenery before them change. They had already arrived at the shore outside Spirit Turtle Island. Taurus Longjiao arrived beside Changliang and helped him up. Changliang, who was already at the end of his rope, was about to fall asleep when he suddenly heard Taurus Longjiao's voice. He could not help but tremble. He struggled to open his eyes. When he saw that it was really Taurus Longjiao, he was filled with disbelief. "Senior Shaojin." His eyes were filled with joy. Then, he saw Lu Yiping. "Lord, you've also come to the upper realm." He did not expect that Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao would also come to the upper realm. Moreover, he would run into Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao here at the Master God Sea. Seeing that Changliang was already at the end of his rope, Lu Yiping sent a green light into Changliang's body. In an instant, the green light enveloped Changliang's body, and the wound on his back healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, Lu Yiping summoned the Divine Tree of Life. The vitality energy within the Divine Tree of Life surged into Changliang's body. The Futu Island's experts, who were cautiously stepping into Spirit Turtle Island, suddenly saw Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Song Song appear. They were so frightened that they stopped in their tracks. When he saw that Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were acquainted with the kid they were trying to capture, his face turned ashen. Although he had never seen Lu Yiping before, he could guess that the blue-robed young man in front of him was the same Lu Yiping who had killed Li Yu with 49 totems. In the distance, Wei Quan and the Futu Islands experts paled when they saw that Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were acquainted with Chong Liang. This kid that they had imprisoned on Futu Island was acquainted with Lu Yiping? However, when they saw Lu Yiping's divine tree of life, their attention was drawn to the divine tree of life. Such terrifying vitality energy. Could it be the divine tree of life? One of the Futu Islands experts exclaimed in shock. The divine tree of life. Everyone's heart skipped a beat when they heard the name. In the past, the barbarian dragon sovereign had issued a bounty for the divine world's experts to find the divine tree of life. The bounty was 1,000,000,000,000 chaos spirit stones. Before the barbarian dragon sovereign had fallen, the divine world had set off a frenzy to find the divine tree of life. After the barbarian dragon sovereign had fallen, the frenzy to find the divine tree of life had gradually died down. The divine tree of life that the divine world's experts had been searching for was now in Lu Yiping's hands. After the divine tree of life's vitality energy flowed into Chong Liang's body, color returned to Chong Liang's face. Chapter 358. That's right, the heaven-confusing chaos array. Lu Yiping stood with his hands behind his back as he walked towards Wei Quan and the Stupa Islands experts. Hearing Lu Yiping say that it was the heaven-confusing chaos array, Wei Quan and the Stupa Islands experts were shocked. Although Futu Island wasn't weak in the main God Sea and could be considered an overlord, compared to the divine world's behemoth, Futu Island wasn't even an ant. They were nothing more than dust. This Lu Yiping in front of them knew how to use the heaven-confusing chaos array. Could it be that this Lu Yiping was an expert from the heaven-confusing divine sect? Moreover, the heaven-confusing chaos array was the heaven-confusing divine sect's most important divine formation. You're a disciple of the heaven-confusing divine sect? Wei Quan retreated in shock, but the heaven-confusing chaos array's walls blocked his path. Heaven-confusing divine sect? Lu Yiping was baffled. If you're not a disciple of the heaven-confusing divine sect, then how do you know how to use the heaven-confusing chaos array? Wei Quan asked doubtfully. Lu Yiping raised his hand and a suction force pulled Wei Quan in front of him. Wei Quan, who possessed 50 elements of lightning element, stared at Lu Yiping in fear. Lu Yiping retrieved Wei Quan's memory fragments and studied them one by one. When he was done, a streak of golden sun fire flew out from his finger and landed on Wei Quan's body, incinerating him in an instant. Even his godhead, totem and heaven's will were reduced to ashes. Taurus Longjiao stepped forward and punched out. A single punch could destroy everything in its path. Waves rolled out from his fist, rising to the sky and swallowing the Stupa Islands experts whole. The Stupa Islands experts didn't even have the time to circulate their heaven's will or origin energy before they were hit by Taurus Longjiao's fist. Taurus Longjiao's fist covered the sky, and everything in its path crumbled. After the Stupa Islands experts were swallowed whole, the light from the fist wave lingered for a long time. A long time later, when the light dissipated, the Stupa Islands experts were all gone. Completely gone. They had completely disappeared. Tianshou, Wanggua, Danfei, and even Song Song were all stunned. There were several hundred overgods on the island. Some weren't as strong as Wei Quan, but they weren't that much weaker. The rest were at least god monarchs with 10 wills or more. However, Taurus Longjiao annihilated them with a single punch. Even Chong Liang was shocked. He was well aware of how difficult it was to break through to the Master God realm. These Master Gods were experts who had cultivated for millions of years in the God world above. However, several hundred Master Gods and tens of thousands of God Kings with more than 10 heavenly wills were unable to withstand a single punch from Taurus Longjiao. At this moment on Futu Island, Long Futu was pacing back and forth, feeling a little restless. Wei Quan and the others still haven't sent back any news? Long Futu asked his subordinate. Don't worry, my lord. Lord Wei Quan and the others have already sealed off the surrounding waters. Given the strength of Lord Wei Quan and the other party will definitely not be able to escape. The subordinate laughed respectfully. After waiting for a while, Long Futu asked his subordinate to contact Wei Quan. However, what made his subordinate stunned was that they were unable to contact Wei Quan. Long Futu's face sank when he learned that he couldn't contact Wei Quan. Right at this time, a loud boom resounded on Futu Island, as if it had suffered a devastating blow. The island shook violently as if it was about to collapse. Long Futu and his subordinates were shocked. They shot into the air and arrived above the Futu Divine Manor. When they arrived, they saw an unforgettable scene. High in the air, a blue-robed young man suddenly punched down. An incomparably huge fist imprint blazing with golden flames blasted apart the Futu Island's grand formation and restrictions. Then it smashed onto the island like a falling star. Boom! Futu Island exploded. The fist imprint struck the Futu Divine Manor at the center of Futu Island. The Futu Divine Manor that spanned tens of thousands of miles was blasted away in an instant. The terrifying fist imprint plowed through the layers of Futu Island's ground, piercing through Futu Island and smashing into the bottom of the Master God Sea below. The Master God Sea exploded 10 million feet below. Even though they were separated by 10 million feet of water, the earth-shaking explosion still caused pain in the ears of Long Futu and the remaining experts on Futu Island. They lost their sense of hearing. The destructive force slammed into the bottom of the Master God Sea. Tens of thousands of waves soared into the sky. The seawater within several miles of Futu Island seemed to be boiling as it roiled endlessly. Layers upon layers of waves slammed into the islands far away, causing the islands to shake. The exploding waves carried a shocking force as they slammed into the group of experts on Futu Island. Some of the Master God experts on Futu Island reacted in shock. However, the power of origin laws shone brightly in the sky. The force of the explosive waves far exceeded their imagination. The experts on Futu Island were all sent flying by the waves. Long Futu and a few of his subordinates continuously dodged the exploding waves in fear. When the waves and the terrifying explosions finally stopped, Long Futu and the others stabilized themselves. Looking over, they saw that the Futu Divine Manor at the center of Futu Island had been completely pierced through, turning into a huge black hole. Seawater was gushing out from that black hole. After Futu Island was completely pierced through, seawater was gushing out from the bottom of the sea along the black hole. Looking at the turbulent seawater gushing out from the black hole, Long Futu and the remaining experts on Futu Island couldn't help but tremble in fear. Especially Long Futu. His face was so pale that there was no trace of blood. The underground of Futu Island was made of the God World's hardest diamond. It was abnormally sturdy. Moreover, the Futu Divine Manor had been thoroughly tempered by him for 3 million years. The ground around it was extremely sturdy and its defense was astonishing. He knew that even if he attacked with his full strength, he wouldn't be able to shake the Futu Divine Manor. But now, it was directly pierced through by this blue-robed young man. He looked at Liu Yiping. When he saw Chong Liang beside Liu Yiping, he became even more flustered, frightened and uneasy. Liu Yiping looked at Long Futu coldly as he walked towards him. Long Futu knew that there was no hope for him to escape, so he didn't try. He suppressed the fear in his heart and cupped his fists towards Liu Yiping. I am Long Futu, a general under the Jade Water Palace Master. How should I address you? What business do you have on my Futu Island? Hearing Long Futu mention the Jade Water Palace, Liu Yiping's face was indifferent. He pulled the other party to his front. Long Futu, who possessed 70 types of wind element energy, was powerless before Liu Yiping. Liu Yiping repeated the same process and extracted Long Futu's memory fragments. After going through Long Futu's memories, Liu Yiping's eyes turned cold. He raised a finger and a finger force exploded Long Futu's body. As for the other people on Futu Island, Liu Yiping left them to Taurus Longjiao, Song Song and Chong Liang. Of course, most of them were handled by Taurus Longjiao, Song Song, Chong Liang, and the others were only helping to clean up the mess. Liu Yiping had Song Song move the Futu Divine Manor's treasury away. He then returned to the Spirit Turtle Island with Taurus Longjiao, Song Song and Chong Liang. After Liu Yiping's group left Futu Island, some of the experts from other islands in the distance turned pale with fright when they saw the destroyed Futu Island. Chapter 359. Not long after Liu Yiping's group returned to Spirit Turtle Island, News of Futu Island's destruction reached the Jade Water Palace. When Palace Master Zhao Tao heard the news, he frowned and asked his subordinate, "The blue-robed young man who destroyed Futu Island was Lu Yiping?" "Yes, Palace Master." His subordinate quickly replied. "Why?" Zhao Tao's face darkened. "We still don't know why Lu Yiping attacked Futu Island." His subordinate shook his head and hesitated. "Palace Master, Futu Island is a subordinate force of our Jade Water Palace. It's impossible for Lu Yiping to not know. Could Lu Yiping be targeting our Jade Water Palace by doing this?" "Targeting our Jade Water Palace?" Zhao Tao's daughter Zhao Yunyan's face turned cold. "We have the Jade Water Chilling Sky Array left behind by Lord Tianhong. If Lu Yiping dares to come, he's courting death." Tianhong was an overgod expert who comprehended the laws of wind, fire, and water. Moreover, each law contained more than 90 types of energy. Zhao Tao pondered. "Although we have the Jade Water Chilling Sky Array left behind by Lord Tianhong, we still have to be careful. Send more people to strengthen the Jade Water Palace's defenses. Also, I'll see if I can contact Lord Tianhong. Also, check if the brat imprisoned by Lord Tianhong on Futu Island is dead. In a few days, Lord Kongling of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect will come. We have to make preparations to welcome him." The Thousand Souls Divine Sect was a colossal existence like the Heaven Confusion Divine Sect. Whether it was the Prime God Sea or the hundreds of continents around it, they were all ruled by the Thousand Souls Divine Sect. The Thousand Souls Divine Sect controlled tens of thousands of continents and endless seas. Kongling was a core disciple of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect. There was no need to doubt his status. After Lu Yiping's group returned to Spirit Turtle Island, Lu Yiping asked about ancient demon god Chongliang's situation. It turned out that Chongliang discovered the Imba race's experts and chased them all the way to the Heaven's Path. When he saw them enter the higher world, he followed them. Later on, he chased the other party to the Master God Sea, where he was imprisoned by the experts of Futu Island. However, the strange thing was that Futu Island only imprisoned him and did not kill him. Jade Water Palace. Lu Yiping read aloud. From the memory fragments of Floating Dragon, he knew that the Master God Ocean Jade Water Palace was one of the external forces of the Yin Bora race. In the lower realm, the Purple Extreme Demon Clan had submitted to the Yin Bora clan. In the upper realm, other than the Purple Extreme Demon Clan, many other ancient clans had submitted to the Yin Bora clan. There were countless external forces like the Jade Water Palace in the Dark Bora race. In the upper realm, the Dark Bora race was even more powerful. However, Lu Yiping wasn't in a hurry to head to the Jade Water Palace. In any case, the people of the Jade Water Palace couldn't escape. Several days passed. After several days of recuperation, Chongliang's injuries had completely healed. In the past few days, Heavenly Beast had successfully comprehended the water maxim and broken through to Lord level. Early in the morning, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left the Spirit Turtle Island and headed to the Jade Water Palace. Song Song, Chongliang and the rest stayed behind. While the two of them were heading to the Jade Water Palace, Palace Master Zhao Tao was leading a group of Jade Water Palace's experts to welcome Kongling. Under Zhao Tao, Zhao Yunyan, and the others welcoming, Kongling entered the Jade Water Palace's Jade Water Island. Kongling noticed that the number of guards patrolling the Jade Water Island had increased significantly compared to the last time he was here. Moreover, they looked as if they were about to face a great enemy. Zhao Tao then told him about Lu Yiping's matter. What 49 totems? Kongling was shocked, and the experts accompanying him had a look of disbelief on their faces. The Sui family's Sui Tai only had 24 totems. Even so, it was enough to shock countless mainlands. In the past, when Sui Tai had condensed 24 totems, even their Thousand Souls Divine Sect's patriarch had personally visited the Wan family. After a discussion, he accepted Sui Tai as his legacy disciple on the spot. A legacy disciple's status was even higher than a direct disciple's. After Sui Tai was accepted as a legacy disciple by their Thousand Souls Divine Sect's patriarch, he had received the full support of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect and the Wan family. His cultivation had rapidly increased, and he had even condensed 24 Chaos Heaven's will. Now, his status in the Thousand Souls Divine Sect was simply beneath a single person. He had already been recognized as the next patriarch of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect. But now, a monstrous genius with 49 totems had appeared. Isn't this just a rumor? An expert beside Kong Ling asked in surprise. In this world, it's impossible for someone to condense 49 totems. Even the ruler of the divine world, the barbaric dragon sovereign, only managed to condense 26 totems when he was at the ancient god realm. It's absolutely true, Zhao Tao said at that time. Many masters of Carefree Island witnessed it with their own eyes. Even the young sect master of the exquisite divine sect, Yang Su, and the other masters of the exquisite divine sect also witnessed it. They even exchanged blows with Lu Yiping. He also spoke of how the exquisite divine sect's Lin Qing, who possessed 90 different powers of the wind attribute, had been sent flying by Lu Yiping. An ancient god actually sent a sovereign of 90 different powers of the wind attribute flying. Kong Ling and the other masters beside him were shocked. It wasn't easy for an ancient god to defeat an ordinary god king. But now Lu Yiping had actually defeated a sovereign of 90 different powers of the wind attribute. Where is this Lu Yiping now? Kong Ling's eyes flashed. If such a monstrous genius could be taken in by his master, then his master's status in the Thousand Souls Divine Sect would inevitably rise. He's at Spirit Turtle Island, Zhao Tao said. Have someone lead the way. I want to go to Spirit Turtle Island and personally meet this Lu Yiping, Kong Ling said. At this moment a miserable scream rang out. What's going on? Zhao Tao's face sank. It's Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping is here. One of his subordinates rushed in and reported. Lu Yiping? Kong Ling and the others were stunned. Turning around, they saw a blue-robed young man and a golden-haired brawny man walking through the air. Wherever they passed, the Jade Water Palace's disciples were sent flying by an invisible force. Kong Ling's eyes narrowed. This is the Heavenly Divine Sect's formless force. An expert beside Kong Ling exclaimed. Kong Ling frowned. How could this Lu Yiping know the Heavenly Divine Sect's formless force? The Heavenly Divine Sect and the Thousand Souls Divine Sect had always been like fire and water. The two sects had been fighting for several million years, and the enmity between them was deep. Could it be that Lu Yiping was a secret genius nurtured by the Heavenly Divine Sect? Kong Ling's original intention of recruiting Lu Yiping disappeared. If Lu Yiping was a member of the Heavenly Divine Sect, he definitely couldn't let him leave alive. In the blink of an eye, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao arrived in front of Kong Ling, Zhao Tao, and the others. Kong Ling looked at Lu Yiping and asked, You're Lu Yiping? I heard from Zhao Tao that you have 49 totems. What you used just now was the Heavenly Divine Sect's formless force. Lu Yiping ignored Kong Ling and looked at Zhao Tao. Jade Water Palace's palace master Zhao Tao? Zhao Tao looked at Lu Yiping, but he didn't answer Lu Yiping's question. Instead, he introduced to Lu Yiping, Lu Yiping, this is the Thousand Souls Divine Sect's Lord Kong Ling. Lord Kong Ling is a core disciple of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect, and he's also the personal disciple of the Thousand Souls Divine Sect's Grand Elder, Lord Wuxia. Lord Wuxia is a supreme expert. Chapter 360. Above the Master Gods were the God Emperors. Above the God Emperors were the God Ancestors. Above the God Ancestors were the Paramount Gods. Above the Paramount Gods were the Sovereigns. The Paramount Gods were the strongest under the sovereigns of the divine world. A Paramount God could cause countless continents to tremble with just a stomp of his foot. Not to mention a Paramount God, even an ordinary God Emperor could easily destroy a Master God Sea and the hundreds of continents around it. The power of a God Emperor was unimaginable, not to mention a God Ancestor or a Paramount God. Hearing Zhao Tao say that Kong Ling's master was a Paramount God, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao remained calm. Taurus Longjiao looked at Zhao Tao with cold eyes. My master hates dogs that submit to the Dark Borer race the most. Anyone who submitted to the Dark Borer race must die. Kong Ling was stunned. Dark Borer race? He couldn't help but look at Zhao Tao. Clearly, he didn't expect Zhao Tao to be a member of the Dark Borer race. Zhao Tao said to Kong Ling, Lord Kong Ling, this Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao are talking nonsense. Don't listen to them. Kongling nodded. Zhao Tao's daughter, Zhao Yunyan, suddenly shouted, "Activate the Jade Water-Chilling Sky Array." As soon as Zhao Tao's daughter finished speaking, rays of light shot into the sky from every corner of the Jade Water Palace. Giant pillars of jade water rose into the sky, exuding a frightening cold energy. In an instant, cold energy swept through the entire Jade Water Palace, enveloping Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. This cold energy wasn't ordinary cold energy, but the 9 underworlds' energy in the sea below the Jade Water Island. This 9 underworlds' energy came from the depths of the 9 underworlds, the pinnacle of cold energy. Its power far surpassed other cold energy. The 9 underworlds' energy shook the sky above the Jade Water Island, causing the clouds in the sky to sway. Under the Jade Water-Chilling Sky Array's power, the Jade Water Palace's space felt like it was about to freeze. The surrounding sea was frozen into ice. The water that was floating just a moment ago had completely turned into ice, emitting a frightening cold mist. "Kill!" Zhao Yunyan shouted sternly. White mist surged out from her body and she emitted a shocking cold aura. Zhao Yunyan also cultivated the laws of water, but her laws of water had mutated, and she now possessed the energy of cold. Once the power of water mutated and gained the power of ice, the power of the laws of water would increase greatly. Originally, of the 13 laws of water would wind, fire, earth, metal, lightning, poison, darkness, light, time, space, and fate, the law of water was the weakest. But once the law of water mutated, its offensive power would surpass that of the wood and wind laws. Within Zhao Yunyan's water laws, various types of energy constantly surged forth, shockingly reaching a total of 87 types. With 87 types of water laws, Zhao Yunyan was definitely one of the strongest overgod sea experts of her generation. Her strength was close to the older generation of overgods like Lin Qing from the Wonder Divine sect. Zhao Yunyan's water-type cold energy poured into the Jade Water-Chilling Sky Grand Array, and the cold energy within the Jade Water-Chilling Sky Grand Array erupted like a volcano. The water law overgods of the Jade Water Palace also urged the law of water in their bodies and poured it into the Jade Water-Chilling Sky Grand Array. The cold energy of the Jade Water-Chilling Sky Grand Array surged, enveloping the entire sea region around the Jade Water Palace. Under the urging of Zhao Yunyan and the others, the cold energy of the Jade Water-Chilling Sky Grand Array condensed into ice dragons that roared as they charged towards Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. In an instant, they arrived in front of Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. "Young master, should we stop them?" An expert beside Kongling asked. Kongling shook his head, "No need." He then said, "I also want to see how powerful Lu Yiping's 49 totems are." With several hundred water overgods of the Jade Water Palace working together, even if it was just an ordinary attack, the power would be unparalleled. Even a palace master like Zhao Tao would not be able to withstand the joint attack of several hundred water overgods. It must be known that the majority of these water overgods of the Jade Water Palace had comprehended more than 50 types of energy. Moreover, these hundreds of water overgods of the Jade Water-Chilling Sky Grand Array's attack was much more powerful than an ordinary attack. The countless ice dragons condensed from the cold energy of the Jade Water-Chilling Sky Grand Array were about to attack Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, but Lu Yiping remained unmoving. Suddenly, Taurus Longjiao's entire body trembled with golden light. His golden hair, in particular, emitted a dazzling golden radiance. Space trembled abnormally. A surge of primal chaos energy surged out from Taurus Longjiao's body. Under this surge of energy, the frozen surface of the sea began to shatter once more. The deathly green cold energy of the Jade Water Palace that had frozen space began to dissipate. Kongling, Zhao Tao, and the others were bewildered. What was this surge of primal chaos energy? Just as they were wondering what it was, they saw an incomparably resplendent, incomparably enormous primal chaos energy fly out. This primal chaos energy was larger than any of the primal chaos energy they had seen in the past, reaching 130,000 li. No, to be exact, it was 139,999 li. Primal chaos energy. A grade 13 primal chaos energy. Kongling, Zhao Tao, and the others shuddered. Moreover, it wasn't an ordinary primal chaos energy, but a peak grade 13 primal chaos energy that was close to 140,000 li. A peak grade 13 primal chaos energy was the strongest primal chaos energy. Even some sovereigns in the divine world might not necessarily be able to integrate a grade 13 primal chaos energy when they were god kings. As for sovereigns who had integrated a peak grade 13 primal chaos energy, they were even rarer. It seemed that only the barbarian dragon sovereign had integrated a primal chaos energy when he was a god king. The moment Taurus Longjiao's primal chaos energy flew out, it shattered the surrounding ice completely, causing the cold energy of the jade water-chilling sky grand array to stagnate. At this time, another primal chaos energy flew out. It was still 139,999 li. The surrounding frozen sea continued to crumble. Subsequently, the third primal chaos energy flew out. The fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. 6 primal chaos wills, all of which were 139,999 li. The 6 primal chaos wills spanned across the sky, completely covering the Jade Water Island and the surrounding sea. Streaks of primal chaos energy that carried lightning energy attacked the surrounding area. These streaks of primal chaos energy condensed into primal chaos lightning dragons that collided with the ice dragons of the Jade Water Chilling Sky Grand Array, instantly destroying them. The primal chaos lightning dragons blotted out the sky and flooded toward the Jade Water Palace. The Jade Water Chilling Sky Grand Array's water pillars were instantly shattered by the primal chaos lightning dragons. Zhao Yunyan and the other overgods of the Jade Water Palace paled at the sight of the primal chaos lightning dragons that blotted out the sky. Zhao Tao roared in fear. All overgods of the Jade Water Palace, attack! With that, he circulated the 99 types of lightning energy and attacked the primal chaos lightning dragons with all his might. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.